Okay, perfect.
Okay, cool. So we are here with this Bellona solo thing. Now, looks like you're letting into Mulan. We could just kind of, I guess, just get started right away. Is there anything ahead of time you wanted to like bring up that you felt like was? I know you mentioned we talked about this a little bit earlier. Laning phase felt mostly okay. It was
Uh-huh.
mostly converting leads into like tangible things mid late. Um, I did a really quick, just like click through of this just to make sure it worked on my end last night. And I did see just like kills death wise, like, you did do pretty well actually initially, and then it kind of just like chain died. I didn't watch, but I saw it just on the stats, which isn't everything, obviously, but I think that'll be a helpful thing to show. Uh, you ready for me to start here?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
cool. Yeah, build wise, looks good. I like this build, obviously. This is generally what I always recommend.
They surrender
Um,
early. I don't know if it gives us any SR or
if you
not.
want
I hope it
to
does.
choose on
Okay,
the
he's back.
relic thing, it really is just up to you. Shell, when you're going shell, you're choosing a fight relic. Into drafts like these, if you want to go beads, it's fine. If you want to go ages, it's fine. You want to go sunder, it's also okay. It's really just choosing which one you think topically fits. So shell is going to be your overall damage absorption thing. But if you're worried about getting lamped and stuff, which is like definitely a possible threat, you could go beads. Just if you are going beads, your laning fight is going to be a little bit worse. So that is kind of the big thing. Yeah. So I did see there was something
Yeah.
a little fucked here. Okay. So if this alone just happens, you can just take the back right now. If you remember, maybe you don't. You do actually have fast TP right now. That's like an accelerated fast TP, cooldown wise, so you
Laddie.
can just
Okay.
kind of reset and leave. Now we're committing a little bit more to it. This is okay, mind you. Like, this actually looks fine. It is a bit messed up looking though. Like this is okay. This is very
Laddie.
weird.
Okay.
What a start! What a start. Okay, here we're chilling. Now, what I want you to do here, one of the things, and this is obviously not a team. Well, this is a team fight, but it's a bit of a weird one. Um, in these spots, like where you have help coming and you just have numbers and you have shell as well, like this is why we have the fight relic. You just want to send it here a little bit because you've got more help than they do. So you're good to actually just like stick this. I know it looks spooky, but this is where you get better, not weaker. I think the biggest thing for Bellona in team fights, and we'll see if this, I'm not like blowing up this moment more than I need to, but what you'll see on this character that I think the easiest way to explain like team fight success with her is just kind of like dying on the hill that you engage on and making sure that engage that you pick is a good one, because if you do, you dying on the hill for it's not a bad thing. Uh, the worst thing you can generally do is kind of what we're seeing here, which is this kind of in and out pitter patter where it's like you do damage and you leave. This chase around is so much less effective than you just like hitting them right here. I know it looks sketchy, but remember, this guy's on the loop, this guy's with you, and you still have shell, right? And if you're just auto attacking, you get more passive stacks, which means what? More strength if you're in bludgeon, and more movement speed. So literally everything is better here if you just hit them. And I know that seems counterintuitive, but like if we're for 50 health here, and in doing, we did 100, maybe 30 damage right there with that spread auto attack. You're doing no damage while still taking damage, right? There's no purpose of this, right? You may as well just hit, and you will just win that with the shell and stuff like that. And worst comes to worst, you die, but you get two. It's super worth, right? So your worst case scenario is actually very good. I'm not thinking you're gonna necessarily die here, and you guys end up killing, but this I think emphasizes what I mean, right? Like this should have been incredibly good, and it's good, but not incredibly good.
Landed
So
on him.
make sure to keep that in mind. Obviously, I know this makes the lane a little bit scuffed to start, but it really shouldn't be the end of the world. She's starting on her blue very late. You're not starting on your blue late, which is really nice. Really important here. Pop a health pot ahead of time if you are low. I know this is a little bit of a non-realistic level 1 just because of the invade, but generally speaking, if you know you're going to be in a place obviously where you'll be taking damage, it's very, very important to pop these pots ahead of time
Yeah.
rather than late, because we're healing 10 per second, and so much of how you're going to determine, right, if a trade is good, if a fight is good, if a fight is fightable, is going to be like how healthy you are before it, right? So if we're popping our pot here at 26 or 27 seconds, we're at 300 health. Remember, you're getting 10 health per
Yeah.
second. You're coming into this lane roughly at like, another, what, 80 health, 90 health potentially if you're popping it at 26, rather than popping it right now when you do. And if you have 80-ish more health here, you're a lot more confident and strong. And this trade away, which he actually ends up making the mistake here, what he should be doing is just wanting you and hitting you, would be really problematic. Now, you're going to kind of
Just
get away
allowed
with it
him
because
to
he
be
doesn't hit
on
you,
some dumb
but even
feet.
this feels like a lot worse than it could, right? So just as a rule of thumb in general, you want to try to pop your
Again,
pots before rather than during because they're going to pop it anyways in these spots, so you might as well just have that a little
don't
early. Let's see
worry,
if you
I
hit
hit the
2 on
spam
this.
laugh.
Yeah, you do because of that assist, right? This would normally never happen, but this is great. This is a really good look. So we get our 3, totally cool. You're much stronger here. Again, this is another spot where if you want to pop a pot, cool. If you don't want to, I also think it's fine. But if you are going to pop a pot, I'd rather you do it before. It looks like he's a little bit spooked. Now, right here, because you're stronger, I want you to stick to him. He needs to kill creeps to level up, and once he levels up, he's pretty strong. Um, by the way, I realize I'm going a little bit quick. I don't mean to, so
No,
if you
you're
think
good.
I'm... Okay, cool. Um, right here, I just want you to stick to him. If you feel like you're stronger, generally when we're playing Bellona, our strength comes in our passive, right? Down here on this. You see my cursor? Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Yeah, so generally your strength, and when I mean strength, I mean like you being stronger, not literal strength, comes in the fact of your passive being up and you having stacks on it. So if you're 5 stacks, which right now you're at 2, and you get a stack per auto, you're always generally, assuming you're not like behind her or something, going to be better, especially right now when she's so strong. I just want you to kind of like stick to him here because you get movement speed from your passive. You can kind of just like walk at him and keep autoing him. And remember, you have sustain from your 3, you have a health potion, and you have shell. So you have a lot of like implicit health that's going to be added to yourself with your Scourge sustain, with all those things that I just mentioned, right? And what's really relevant about that is something I talk about in solo sometimes is this idea of I have more healing potential than they do. So if I force a fight, even if it looks a little bit weird, if I know I can heal more than them, I'm always going to be the happier person, right? Because I can sustain back and they can't. And that's really what makes this character probably the best solo laner in the game. Definitely in the laning phase, the best solo in the game because her sustain when played aggressive is just better than other gods. So I really, really don't want to see you PvE it up here and play it clear. If you want to bludgeon, no problem, but I want this to completely like stay on her. Because do you see the bailout here that you're kind of giving her by not just sticking like right
Yeah.
now? Right? So it's just one of those things of it's like if you have an advantage, and again, this is what's so great about the character. Even if you're playing Amma, which I know you mentioned Amma Wukong as your other 2 characters that you play, that premise stays generally the same because you're stronger here. But even on Amma, like we have our ones to sustain through and stuff. If you can take a trade that like looks good and is just straight up damage, I don't really care if you end up clearing a little bit slower. Him being poked out and forced out means number one, he can't like stay up to finish the rest of the wave anyways. So it doesn't really matter. So I think in general, always looking to fight when you think you're actually stronger is really good. Here's another like really, really, again, I'm being very precise on this, but I think it's important too. Right here, good auto, just stick to him. Like he can't do anything. You have 25 strength right now. Because you're passive and you have higher auto attack speed. I don't actually know what your base is at level 2 here, but it's higher than him. The point is you are much stronger than him right now. You're not like you don't have like hastened autos, so you're not sticking to them entirely. But with the movement speed, you can get 3 or 4 autos, and these melees will chase you. You know what I mean? So it's not like these melees are gonna break off because you're hitting him while they're close. So you can just stick this right and just kind of keep sticking it. He'll be 40% health. You'll still have this pot as residue, and you have the shell, and you have the 3 for sustain. His lane is completely like problematic. So you're doing fine. None of what I'm saying is that you're like messing this up or you're doing it bad. But this is just more about like, I think so much of making solo lane good and easy is understanding that if the other person gets behind, and you get a firm like grapple of the lane in the first 3 or so minutes, you're basically like going to need jungle intervention to save that, unless you mess up yourself really hard. And that's really good because if you can create a point where their jungler has to intervene or else your side of the lane is just completely won, that's like a big, big deal. And that's, going to make you win a lot more games, especially when you're, doing okay on the map anyways. So I like that you're sticking this now. This is good. I just wanted you to do it a little bit earlier, but it's still looking good, and this might just be a kill, isn't it? All right, great. Look, maybe I should have let it run for a second. Happy to hear it. Obviously here, I mean, this guy needs to back up here. This auto trade is terrible by him. If he gets out right now, I think he's fine, but nonetheless, like, really, really nice, and good stuff. All right. Well, this is going better than it could for sure, right? This is going quite well. Doing this is great.
Super dumb.
Oh, I thought that was you. That's the
Super high risk for
yeah,
what?
okay,
Yeah.
okay. You're good.
For no reward, pretty much.
Okay. So
I didn't even get it.
here, if you can trade with him, it's nice. And it looks like you will. You want to 1 first just so you can slow him into the 2 autos, but that was still very good. Basically the same thing. Only thing here you would want to consider is like backing right now rather than after this. Because one of the problems you might run into here is you are kind of low, and I know you do have shell, and I don't want to like get too much into this because I think it can be a bit confusing. But the junglers right here, I try to recommend people to like get a rough idea of where people are on the map. So their junglers right here. You lingering on this camp and then pushing the wave when you're this health is like kind of dodgy. You know what I mean? It just looks a bit risky. So in general, like if you got a kill and if you just did some poke to him, which is all phenomenal, all that stuff's great, you're completely okay here to just back for a chalice and your Reaper component, and you'll be very, very happy. I think what you'll actually find is that staying for this totem, because you'll get this totem anyways if you just back after, is the point I'm making. You see how sketchy this feels? Like this doesn't feel good, right? You feel like you have to
Yeah.
kind of back up. Aladdin ends up being here, which is nice, so it means you're not getting ganked, but I think what's going to happen here is you're probably going to back, or you're just going to kind of hide and wait. She ends up kind of shoving, but you might still even lose something here anyways. Yeah, so you end up losing a creep, which I'm not going to make out to be the biggest deal in the world, but you do lose a minion, and you do lose out the pressure. Now you're going to lose a little bit of gold to tower, and if this Mulan was a little bit more diligent here, and right here, she just kind of held, because she doesn't need to push this. She's pushing this because she's not paying attention, right? But if she just holds this up right here and doesn't hit the minions, what do you need to do? You need to walk up, right? And why are you not walking up? Because you feel like it's sketchy, right? And I think that's the right call. It is the right call that this is sketchy. So, if she held here, I think you'd be in a lot of trouble. You'd probably have to just reset right away and lose a lot more. So the easiest way that we can skip all this is when you get your good trade here after this, and again, this trade is good. Why? Because he just TP'd back, you still have TP. That's the simplest, easiest reason to explain why it's good. All great. Right here, I just want you to back up and reset. You're going to get this totem once you come back anyways, and you'll avoid this like weird time of being down and kind of weak and not be able to do anything. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's really just about like identifying like, and I try to make this exercise for all soul laners and all players in really any role. Try to think about how much gold you actually need to reset and reset happily. What you're gonna notice here is like you have 1050 right now. Well, you have 1030. Once you back, you'll have 1050. When you end up resetting here, now you're gonna continue to stay. And he missed there, which is nice. Sorry, I skipped a little too far forward. Here, this is this thing going on. What I would do here, by the way, and I'll get back to that other point in a second as you back, because you'll see what I mean. Again, this is all just a continuation of what we talked about. This is just like a little bit scuffed. Here, though, you're going to lose some gold here anyways. I don't want you to die. It's okay to let these minions in your tower. Like, it's all good. Just hit the archers after they come in, because the problem here is that these archers are, like, not in the tower, and you're gonna like be in potentially a bit of a dodgy spot trying to like actually get this. Now he ends up missing, but it still feels really bad and you still end up dying. I think you can see how this all like feels a bit
Yeah.
messed up, right?
It's like a
Totally
chain
fine.
reaction type of thing.
100%. And if you can like very simply boil it down to, hey, if I'm stronger, like I'm happy, and if I'm not stronger, I'm not unhappy. It can really simply cut out some of these semi-icky like feel things, because I think instinctively as a player here, you can tell me as you come off from this totem that this does not feel very good. I'm not talking about like numbers, anything. I'm just saying pure feel. This doesn't feel good, and instinctively you have the right read here. You see how you're backing up. Like consciously, subconsciously, whatever, that this doesn't feel good. So the big picture is that if it doesn't feel good, let's not get in the spot in the first place, and that's literally just back earlier, and you're fine. But let's say you read that wrong, or you hesitated, you didn't back, no worries. Literally let these minions come in. I always typically say, if you're gonna lose gold, don't lose health. And what I mean by that is these minions coming into the tower will make you lose gold, but it won't make you lose a lot of health because you can just kind of like hit them in the safety of your tower. Vice versa, if you're gonna lose your health, don't lose the gold, right? So get the minions without losing them to tower. The problem here is you're low. So you staying up means the health you're gonna lose is gonna get you killed, right? That's not great. We definitely don't want that to be the case. So this really just comes down to and if mind you, if you do shell here, you do also live. I think you know that though.
Yeah.
The biggest thing here though is just let these minions come in. Like it's not a big deal. I think right here you're just trying too hard to like not lose a little. And it's okay to lose a little. You're ahead, right? You have like let's say you're up 400 gold. If you end up losing 80 from this, you're still up 320. It's happy, you know what I mean? Don't stress about like needing to min-max everything. And it's fine to just kind of cut and take your losses a bit. And that's the same thing even with Totem. But the point here that I was trying to make is look what you end up getting. You end up getting a Chalice, and you end up getting this component, right? So guess how much that costed from this point. Let's show you. You already have this tier 1. 750 gold, right?
Yeah, about 1,000.
This 1,040, 1,050. It's 1,050 gold. But what did we have before this totem? 1,047 as you're hitting it. As
Yeah.
we started it, we're at 132. But you can wait 3 seconds in the fountain if you need to, right? No worries. So what I really want you to do as a player, and this is really going to help you, is try to keep in mind how much gold you actually can settle for on your reset before you leave the base. Try to get like a lower bound and an upper bound. So your like floor reset is actually technically 300 gold for a chalice. That is like the best worst spike you can get, right? So 300 gold is your floor. Now obviously I'm not saying strive to have 300 gold before you back, but that is like the minimalist allowed gold amount you can have. Your upper bound is really whatever you want it to be, but realistically it's probably a couple components, maybe a finishing of an item. So just gauge like how much gold do I need to back to be somewhat happy versus very happy. And I'm not saying that you need to do that to a T and be like calculating all these things, but it's just very simple of like, okay, if I can back and get 1,050 gold before I back, I'm super pumped. But even if I can only get 850 gold, which would be the other component, the other tier 1 component, and a chalice, that's super great, right? So, even if you're in this spot
what?
right here, you can
For
back
no
and you're chilling,
reward,
you know what I
pretty
mean?
much.
Sorry, yeah, like even I'm not obviously wouldn't back here with the wave, but the point I'm making is like you have a lot of opportunity to back and feel much better. You just have to understand ahead of time that that's how much I need, because I think, and I would argue, that if you realized right now you had enough gold to back happily, you probably would, right? And
Yeah.
it's just about identifying that like, hey, like we can always do these things. And remember, like when you're coming out of fountain, you have nothing to do. So you can just like check that. That in general, that idea will like sincerely help you with overstaying, or maybe like feeling a little bit, gutted. And the other thing about it is like if we as a player are overstaying and then we die, you have a very easy feedback loop to like what went wrong, right? You were like, I was trying to get an item spike, it didn't work, right? I couldn't get an item spike, or I had an item spike, I didn't get it, and now I'm just kind of cooked. So all of this, I think, just comes from a little bit too much earlier, of just trying a bit too much and not really looking at the gold. But again, the biggest thing there, no need to do that totem if you're weak. You can do it after. But we're still in a fine
Yeah, and
spot.
his
Like I'm not
power wish.
really worried about this lane.
Dead again.
We'll see how this goes. I really think you should be okay though. Maxing the 2 is good. That's always what I tend to do. Doing this is also good. And yeah, you really should be fine. I will say it does suck that you didn't use that shell, but all good. Now rocks are up. Now you're queuing with your jungler, correct?
Uh-huh.
Or who? Okay, cool. Generally, and this isn't so much a you thing, but it is somewhat a you thing. Part of why, and this is a bit more complicated and probably not needed for like, because you're in diamond, right? Probably not needed even for master level smite. As players, we need to be on certain timers or be strong for certain timers before they happen. And part of you overstaying and dying that's like bad that I didn't want to bring in as a wrinkle because it complicates things is these rocks. These always spawn first set at 3 minutes. You like need to be strong ahead of this always. Like super, super important. You're not going to get punished for it a lot, even up to the master's level. But if you're getting them consistently, you're very happy. That is a jungle job and a solo job, mostly a jungle job, but you can do it if you're in a good spot, right? So this is cool. I don't mind this at all. This is completely fine. And again, you have prio, so I don't actually really care for you, but your jungler really needs to find a way to be here. If that's not taking some bad fight over here and not dying earlier, sure. If it's going to other camps, sure. Very, very important to be on these because it's going to be worth a lot and you'll win a lot of games just off of these alone. So this shove out is good. I want you to go to these rocks now, and it looks like you do. Now, again, your jungler is coming, and you're coming over too, which is great. This is just late, is the only point I'm making. Again, it's kind of hard to stress because, like, they're not here. This is going to happen. But as you play into better players and stuff, this will become more of a thing in general. And again, if you're able to do them, you know, more snappily, you'll probably get more each game. But nonetheless, you get them, so that's very good. And this lane should be like fairly easy right now. So we're gonna clear. She's like under us, which is fine. You can fight if you want to, a little. Yeah, nothing crazy. She's playing an ult there. Very bad play. Yeah, never do that. I know a lot of players do what she just did there. I feel like a lot of Wukong players also do it, where they're trying to dash out and they always want to knock up someone on the way out. Don't bother ever. That stuff is so worthless. That was a terrible play by her. But good job for you. You got a free ult. And this clear should be good. You can get your blue after this and all that stuff. You've kind of gotten a nice little control point. I probably wouldn't just like randomly use an ability there just because you're kind of wasting a bit of mana. But again, it shouldn't matter too much, and you just want to probably go to your blue right now. Okay, this lingers. This is a bit useless, right? Like, we know that.
Okay.
This doesn't really do anything.
It's not worth
yeah.
just kind of poking her with the 3 at all.
Not really, because she's going to heal it on this wave anyways, right? So, like, I want you to... Here's probably the best way to put it. If you're doing everything you need to do when you have pressure in terms of camps, you're going to be ahead anyways. Doing 100 damage is just like a mental thing. That does nothing, right?
Okay.
It's way more important that you are like on your spikes and you're getting your things, because if you're controlling your blue, this chest camp, rocks, and totems sometimes as well, you're going to go up like 1200 gold pretty easily, plus the rock strength. And what you really are creating is a suffocating thing for her to not be able to really play. But that's not going to come from you doing like useless poke, especially when you have stuff up to do. It's much better if you're just like clearing faster, getting the stuff faster, and then fighting when everything's down. You know what I mean? If she gives you a fight. And if she doesn't, well, it's probably because she can't. You know what I mean? And if she can't, you've done your job anyways. So it doesn't really matter. Again, it's not so much like that's the worst play in the world. It's just more so like you want to be like efficient so you can do things quickly in general. And it's a very good habit as well. But hey, we're still like, all of this is good. I want to be clear. This is all good. I'm just micromanaging because that's the point. This is looking okay. Now, you can, if you really want to, in a spot like that, actually make the ult here earlier, not at this point. I think this fight gets played a little bit incorrectly. I want to really emphasize something. On this character, you want your stacks, like, really bad. So you want to be auto-attacking all the time here. Like, even here, if you can auto this totem coming in so you keep 4, that's really good. All of your stacks do fall off at once right away. And these stacks are like as important as like the Wukong passive, you know, when you have the increased strength and prots and stuff when you're lower health. Like, it really is that big of a deal. Your fights are always going to feel great when you have them, and your fights are always going to be a little sad when you don't. So, like, before you even look for your bludgeon here, I'd rather you just get some autos on this, auto him out a little bit. Because remember, I don't think he has ult for a little bit longer, right? He might be beginning to have ult, but if even right here you just walk at him with your Scourge and just auto him down, he's gonna like freak out because you're just gonna win the trade. Like, I promise you, you're just gonna win it. You have Shell, remember? You have Chalice, and mind you, because I don't think all players know this, Shell is just a straight up better fighting relic than Sunder. In the 1-to-1 in a fight, you're always like absorbing more with Shell than he's dealing with Sunder. So you're always happy with that in this relic trade. In terms of like if you Shell and he Sunders, you're always winning that. So why is that relevant? Right here, if you just walk at him and you just auto him and hit him, he's gonna probably freak out and just pull you, excuse me, and then you can bludgeon afterwards. If he doesn't pull you because he's being patient, well, you can just keep on autoing him and then just ult him and he's dead. You know what I mean? So
Huh.
it's kind of a huge loss, especially when he doesn't have ult and he's a little bit weaker than you because he's I mean, you're full health Bellona. Like this god kind of doesn't lose fights if she's in a good spot. Um, but you need to identify that and push that. The big problem what happens here is number one, we get one passive thing, which is nice, at least you got one. But like this wind up and stuff is very actually irrelevant and it's actually not helpful at all. Because basically what we're doing here is we're setting up damage to be interrupted when again, if we just sat there, like principally you are an auto attacker as a character. If you play to do that first, you will just win, right? But we need to identify that because the problem here is like Mulan's damage comes mostly from abilities, right? Yours comes from a mix of abilities and autos, but she's more ability-esque than you are. If we play for the ability here and she's able to get her best trade, which is a 2-1 Sunder with the 3, which she just got on you, now all of a sudden this feels really unclear and really uncomfortable, right? You're at 523, this doesn't feel good. But if we're able to auto attack her ahead of time, and then just ult the 2 or ult the 3, whatever the case might be, or just ult in general, we're pretty happy. I mean, I think even right here, if you identified, I can just ult this guy and go on him really easily, it would be quite good. I think the biggest problem is we use the 2, it gets interrupted, and we kind of go back to this like hitting the minions thing while she's hitting us. This is no good, right? So if you're gonna fight her, fight her. Like I want you to really, really uh, be clear on that concept of like if I am looking for, and this is what I mean by that die in the hill thing, you will always be better off if you just stick it. Now also ahead of time, just always pop a pot as you start this, right? Like we talked about earlier.
Hmm.
That's something that I think what you'll notice, and the reason why I'm like tripling down on a lot of these things is I think most of the issues as players we have are very habitual. And if you see them in the first 3 minutes, you tend to see them all game. So the potion thing is probably something you do quite literally every game too late. And that's like completely fine, you know what I mean? It's just a good thing to notice now. Another thing is like again, if you think you can fight, which I promise you can, number one, if you're telling me right now, like, hey, I didn't see this as being good, completely okay. Um, that's something to just like work on adjusting. But even like right here, like if you just go on him, he's just like screwed, right? Like you're just stronger and you can just fight. I really don't want this kind of half and half here, right? Where we're like 2ing and you weren't even looking to hit him. You were looking to hit the wave here. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So there is, I think, too much passivity here, and it's really, really not helping you. If you want to play passive and stuff, this posturing doesn't make sense. Agreed?
Yeah.
Right? So you have to stick it. And again, I'm stressing this because you literally do just win this if you hit him. Because after her abilities are down, I know this feels ugly, but she is like useless right now. She can't do anything, so you just have to stick it. Um, and so I want that 1 on her. I want the 2 attempt on her, obviously, after an ult or something. But yeah, this is going to tend to feel bad because you're not really actually getting any amounts of damage on her. Okay, so this is a bit of a scary spot. I don't mind you backing, and I'm happy you do because you have Reaper. It sucks a bit that this wave is going to kind of make you bleed a bit, but it's not the end of the world. We're still generally pretty happy. So it's no biggie. Another thing also, and this is why pressing tab is really helpful, probably earlier, ideally, he doesn't even have a chalice in his build. So had you been taking those fights on him, he would have really, really been in trouble if he didn't just straight up die. You know what I mean? Because there's
Uh-huh.
just like nothing he can do. I mean, I know he has his too, but like it's not nearly enough. So you really, the biggest thing in this lane is that we just like could have fought a lot more, a lot easier, and that would have been really helpful. So okay, you're gonna have a pause here, maybe. Okay, you clear out. This looks okay. Obviously, rocks are probably not actually up, so I don't mind you. Yeah, they're already going down. That's fine. You're making the right call here. If you think they're down or they're probably down, probably don't want to waste your time. But the lane spot is looking okay. We'll talk about objective rotations and stuff once those come up. I just don't want to overload on that right now. Notice, though, what you just did. Exact same thing, right? As earlier. Just go on him. You know what I mean? Like, literally, like you're complicating it too much. Don't even bother 2ing this. Just walk at him with your auto attacks and then 2 and he's fucked. Like, I promise you. Really, really
So I
promise
guess
you this.
I'm just worried about like taking too much damage from the minions. Is that not something I should be
Not
really worried
really.
about? Like
Not really.
after level 2, level 3, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a great way to think about it. Minions in this game are not doing too much, but also I want you to remember, like, you are so much tankier right now than you think you are because you have your passive, you have potions, you have shell, and you have your ultimate, which gives you prots in the circle around your ult. You have so many things to actually give you like protections and stuff. This wave should not even be like a thought of yours. Like obviously you want to kill it, but I'm saying in terms of like the damage from the wave, I don't even want you to think about that genuinely. If you die to it at level 1 or something like that because you do something dodgy, okay, yeah, we can like say, hey, that was a bad idea. But as you level up, even to like 5, it's really not a huge concern anymore. I'm not saying that the wave, if it's all just hitting you blindly, is like not a deal at all. But he's already poked, right? He's already 80% here, let's say, right? You hitting him and stuff like that, like you're already winning here without doing anything. If you just stick it, you're happy, right? You would need to lose like 200 health from minions alone, and that's just not going to happen in the time that it would take for you to just like slam him. Mind you, like he still needs, like you're not going to die to the wave here, I promise you. So I think you're probably just overthinking this, but you can literally just like go on this guy this whole time. But again, I want you to start with auto attacking here. Just walk at him and auto him. You can do it in your 3, your 1, it doesn't really matter. And then as he tries to bail out, you either 2 him, or if he ults out, you just follow him with the ult and he's dead. Like, this pathing is completely criminal by him. No Mulan should ever be doing this if she's behind, ever. It doesn't work. Like, this god is so, uh, I would say dodgy, because when she doesn't have a huge lead, she just can't play the game. And this is kind of like where you see that. But you have to identify that you are just like the better god in fighting, and generally if you're playing Bellona, you're probably always the better god all the time, as long as you like keep your passive stacks up and just kind of hit her. So you're really, really benefited by doing that. And like right here, you identify it, you know what I mean, which is really nice. But again, I think the minion thing that you're talking about probably is telling me everything, because look how easy this was, right? I mean, look how much
Yeah.
damage she just took. And mind you, you're leveling your 2, right? So you didn't use your 2 for damage here on her, which is like fine, because you probably wouldn't have. She probably would have canceled it. But like the point I'm making is if you just walk at her like right now, you're autoing her for 50 and 100 per, and you didn't even use your 2 on her. Look how free this was. I mean, this was unlosable, right? I think you identify that, right? I
Yeah.
want you to identify that way earlier. Don't worry about this wave. Look how much the wave just hit you for. 16. I know it's 1 creep, but still, that's the point. That's not a problem. You're fine. So he ults here. I want you to insta-ult this. Always. Even if you don't catch, remember that your passive gives you movement speed. So, number 1, your sense is a little bit low here. I don't know if that's just how you play. It's fine. Try to be a bit snappier with this, but that's whatever. Because you turning faster means you get a quicker ult, which is going to help here. I know you have the gank coming, but still. Nonetheless, this ult, you have movement speed because of your passive, right? This is not nothing. I want to be very clear on that. If you just ult, like, you will reach him, I promise you. So you just have to. Now, look, your jungler's here. You guys are going to kill him. No worries. It's probably better if you ult and he doesn't. You know what I mean? But like, no, I mean, I don't want you to overcomplicate that. I just want you to understand that, like, right here, you probably, even with this fumble, you probably have a solo kill here, is the thing I want to stress. You know what I mean? So if you just follow him with the ult, you probably kill him without your bats even needing to be here. Which, like, your bats is here, so it's all good, but, like, that's to emphasize how much stronger you are. I think you're vastly, vastly underestimating how good you are in these fights. But look, it's a nice kill. It's a little dodgy of a jump there, but it's all good. We got him, and yeah, I mean, look, the lane looks happy. The map is obviously a little bit losing, but it's not completely like terrible. You're going into Lash now, which is good. The Slash build is being nerfed a bit next patch, but I don't think it's being gutted by any means. So it'll probably still be strong, just a bit weaker. Right here, you can choose to stay or back. They're both fine calls. I think staying is fine. And yeah, so far so good. Has anything kind of stood out that you're like a bit confused about so far?
No, not really. It was like
Mm-hmm.
the wave thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to start fighting her when the waves kind of collide? Is that kind of my go button
You know,
to
sort
start
of.
hitting her?
I think you want to fight her when you can hit her, like quite literally. So if that's earlier or after, not a big deal. It's nice if the waves are hitting like this to fight because you don't have to worry about something weird like you missing minions because you're not around them or something like that. If you walk at her right now and hit her, you are just gonna like hard beat her, especially now that you're a little bit ahead. Even when you're even, you win it, but like especially now you win it. So I don't think you need to worry so much about the minion state in that context because again, I think it's still like prioing this idea of like they're gonna be a problem. They really won't be unless she has cleared your full wave and there's a minion wave like walking into your tower. There's really nothing to be like complicated here. You can literally simplify it to, can I hit this guy? If the answer is yes, I should. Like
Uh-huh.
that simple. I know it's like super monkey brain kind of stuff to like put it that way, but it literally is that easy. And the reason why this character is so good right now is because when she has a lead, she's pretty unyielding in terms of like efficacy. So like right here again, we see it's happening like time number 3, literally. And I know you end up hitting her, but I want you to like know like here, like I am going to jump this guy the moment he walks up. You know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
literally right here. That's your plan. Now, mind you, we still do want to look at our map. Ganesha is here. Agni is here. Could you possibly get ganked? Probably not, but it's something to like keep in mind. But nonetheless, like him walking to the side here is so cursed. If you just one him right now, auto him 2-3, he's in trouble again. It's the exact same thing every time. Now you end up hitting him quicker, which is good. But even that little bit of hesitation is like hurting you a bit. It's not the end of the world. I want to be clear. You're still not unhappy with this. But it is like important to just go right away. And mind you,
And
the
should I be
reason,
popping like
yeah,
the chalice here as well? Because
before,
I know I'm
yeah,
about to
yeah,
start
because
fighting.
100%. So this is just in having that plan, right? Where if we know we're going to do something, you can pop it right now, right? This is completely fine. Remember also, and the reason why I'm talking about you always are happy with fighting is it's going to be like what you see after this trade, where she actually gets a pretty good look on you, and you obviously didn't get quite as much damage as I wanted you to because you didn't start right away, but even with that in mind, you do just kind of like heal with your Scourge, and obviously this is up, so that helps. And you're just like way better off than she is super soon. So you are getting ganked here. This is completely fine. You should be totally okay. I like the dash out here. You should probably look to ult in a second. The shell's good, but we're going to hold it. We're going to hold it. And it's good. I mean, look, I don't mind you holding it. That's completely fine.
11 likes tower
Now you should ult this, probably. Okay, you freaked out a little bit, but I think we're
Yeah.
doing quite well. All right, that's okay. You freaked out here a little bit. It's fine. I'm
What would
not
be like
super
more
surprised.
ideal? Because I was
Yeah, yeah.
thinking like as soon as the Aladdin drops in, I can maybe
Hmm.
ult him. But is that not the
No,
right
no, that
play
is
there?
that is the right call, but you missed, which is okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. I
Okay.
wouldn't stress about that. So there's a few ways you can play this. It depends on the type of player you are and stuff. I don't really care what you do. I just want you to feel like you leave this death or no death feeling like you stuck to a plan. So this is sort of one of those more intuitive things. I don't think there's a guidebook here, but you have two approaches here. Number one approach is I'm going to preserve as much health as I can, and I'm literally going to just ult away ahead of time. So like right here, just ult. This is an option. I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm just giving you an option. The idea with this is very simple. If I ult ahead of time while I'm healthier, I shut down any type of dive potential on me. It's undoable, okay? That's the plan. This works and is a thing you can do. If you're not going to do that because you want a greedier ult, that's also okay. I'm not saying you can't, it's just a choice, right? So this is choice number one you're making is I'm not going to ult. Because if you're going to ult, you're going to ult like right here. You know what I mean? And you're just
Yeah.
clear out. I generally recommend that if you're getting ganked you have to understand that they are using resources to try to kill you. So this guy's committing his time, the Aladdin who's coming is committing his time. If you make it hard for you to die by just ulting right here, you lose your ult, which kind of sucks. But they just wasted their time to try something, and you're effectively wasting two additional people's time, and they get nothing out of it besides your ult, which doesn't matter much. So that's like actually just a net positive, you know what I mean? And you're pretty happy with that. It's a very good way to be helpful to your team is to just not die during a gank, right? So that's a
Hmm.
completely fine way to look at it. And I would generally encourage you to just ult here because that's probably the safest, smartest play. Though, that being said, this is still completely playable even at this point. The shell here is good. You have your potions taking. You're completely fine here. The problem here that happens is that this ult play isn't terrible, but you like rush it really, really hard. Even if you hit this ult, I don't actually love it completely because there's not actually a threat here yet. And I know that sounds really silly, but if you look at the spot, Mulan is low. This Ganesh is like not low, but he's not really a big problem. Really, your only threat is Aladdin, and that's why you're ulting him, right? Thing is
Hmm.
though, is this ult is like super. I think you're a bit nervous here. I think it's pretty obvious, and that's fine. It's
Yeah.
obviously a bit spooky. But one of the reasons why like I talk about playing these characters and stuff is, and obviously you're doing that, which is great, is you'll get more composure in these moments through time. And the easiest thing here to do is quite literally do nothing. And when he looks for the lamp, you ult the lamp, and he's in big trouble. I don't mean you ult in the lamp. I mean you ult the actual hit. You just go over the lamp throw, right? So like
Huh.
right here, instead of ulting, you just maintain your ult. You can 3 him to get this axe proc heal, and you just walk back. And when the Aladdin tries to go on you, you just up down him. Because he's probably going to dash ult, or he's probably going to look to dash, and you can just kill both here, because this is completely fucked for them. Like, do you see how, like, much this guy's just inting it, by the way? Like, this
Yeah.
is just terrible from him. He's doing this partially because your ult's down, but I think he would have probably done this anyways. This is literally just to hold the ultimate, and you're going to kill them. Even then, though, I want to be clear, like, if you juke this, which it happens, sometimes people get good hits, you're probably okay. But, like, yeah, the big thing here is, like, we don't need to use this immunity here because we're not immuning anything, right?
Hmm.
So this is just like a nerves thing. I wouldn't really overlook this. That's just one of those things that I think from like a review standpoint, just try to think about how much threat am I actually taking, because if I'm just like blowing my composure, uh, I'm probably not going to have a very happy situation. This ends up being quite good for you anyways, and I think that highlights how much of an overextension it was. So it was probably always going to be okay. And it could have been very, very good, but I mean, nonetheless, it's still fine. I think the biggest things I've seen probably in the gameplay for you, and I always tend to see different things per person, but for you, it's mostly been like some hesitancy, I think, or like the other way around, where I think you're overthinking it a bit. And that
Uh-huh.
was one of those spots. So it's just something helpful to realize. This chase here is a little bit weird. I probably wouldn't even bother. Problem is that you're losing a lot of health for someone you can't kill, and that's just not great. If you just like do rocks here, you're very happy. I would say for chasing, unless you're 1,000,000,000% sure you can kill the guy, don't do it. And I don't think you should be 1,000,000,000% sure you can kill him right now. If you thought you really could kill him 100% and this didn't work, oh well. I'll just tell you ahead of time you can't kill him here. So I
So don't
again,
even try for it,
if you
basically.
can't, if you don't think you 100% can, don't try for it. Because the problem
Okay.
here is you're gonna lose so much health for nothing, effectively. And you could have just like done these rocks and went back to lane and been really happy. Now you're, spending time walking over here, taking a lot of damage, blah blah blah. It doesn't feel that good. You're 800 health. You're still kind of lingering. The Mulan's getting her blue and then coming over. You're still lingering. If you tell me right now, how strong do you feel right now? What are you probably gonna say? Probably not that much. I mean, you're not weak, right? Your build's good, but I mean, your actual positioning and stuff here. This doesn't look super like confidence inspiring. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Right? So we want to try to avoid this. I think one of the best ways as a soul laner to translate or lead into team fights and stuff, and one of the things that is probably going to help you a lot, because I'm seeing a fight like this and I feel like things like this will probably continue, is just that like as a player here, let's just like make fights and take fights that feel good. Like literally simplify to that. if I, as a player here, go do these rocks after I force this guy out, didn't we just win the team fight? We got the camp, you know what I mean? That's what the fight should be over. So if we're just getting the camp and we're leaving, we forced this guy away, took the camp, he got nothing, we got stuff. Isn't that a win? It is, right? That's simple.
Yeah.
The problem here is, especially in lower ranks, what you see a lot of is that people will have a win, a very clear win. It's not the biggest win, but it is a win, and that's the core concept. It's a win. You take the win. They have a win, and they look for more. And when you look for more and you say, I'm going to kill this guy, you're transposing this from being a fight over these rocks, which would have been an easy, good thing, right? To, I'm going to try to go for a kill here, right? And now the objective is no longer this camp. It's now this fight. And the problem with this is, what's the success rate of this fight? If you could give me a percentage. No clue, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can give me a
Probably
guess.
low.
Probably low, but let's say it's even kind of high, right? Let's say it's 75%. What's the success rate of you getting this camp over here?
Like 100%.
100%, exactly. So if we just take more quality fights, you are effectively getting something with a 0% chance of failure that's giving you less. If I said you have a 20% chance to gain $100 or lose $100, or you have a 100% chance to gain $35, you probably should take the 100% chance to gain $35, right? It's probably a good idea. And I think that's the simplest way to put it here. This is a good look that you tried to turn away for a great look, and that great look came with risk. Does that make sense? And there's just no need to do that as a player. And this is not a solo lane thing, this is an every role thing. And if you just choose to do less that's safer and easier in terms of calls and decision making, you're just gonna have a lot less random feel bad fights. And the random feel bad fights are the biggest like elo killers in the world. These always nip everybody, and I think is probably the chief reason people lose games in general. Because this just feels terrible. You're kind of low, you're sitting in a bush forever, you didn't end up getting these camps. You might eventually do get them, but just like the delay and hesitation to it kind of stinks. Now this Mulan just kind of walks up and ints, which is really convenient, I won't lie. So that's a very happy look. Should that have happened? Probably not, but I'm happy it did. Now we have these camps to clear out. Another big thing is rituals. As a solo laner, you want to rotate to them if you can. And if you can, just depends on how easy it is for you to do. If it's really out of the way and hard to do, you don't do it. Earlier in your lane, you were just getting the shards in your lane and winning the lane. I'm super happy with that. That's completely fine. But if you have an opportunity to rotate, you probably should. If you can't, or it's just like not really, it's way too out of the way, that's totally all good. So it's just about like feeling what's easier. And that'll be happy. But we do get this out here. We're playing for Lash now, which you're pretty close to. And this fight should be pretty easy. See what's happening again?
Yeah.
Literally every time. But this is great though. Look how many of the things you're doing is literally the exact same thing. And this is what I mean by pattern stuff. We are 10 minutes in the game. You've done this like what, 5, 6 times maybe? That's a really easy way to climb, isn't it? Hey, next time I play Bellona, let me just like not do this one thing that I keep doing. And if I just shift, then I'm just way happier. And again, we're doing that because we understand we're stronger. And even right here, she misses this 3. If you just hit her with this 2, how much is this 2 going to do? Do you know?
I do not know. It's going to do a
Give
lot,
it a guess? Yeah. It's going to do a lot.
Like 3/4 of her health, probably.
It'll
She's
do
going to
a
be down to
ton.
3/4.
Yeah. 100%. This will probably do about 350, maybe 400. She's going to get coked by this. So it's going to feel really good. You just got to use it on her. And again, all this comes down to like, dude, we are just like strong here. We can just kind of hit him. Like we're good. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Like I think you're giving him so much respect in a lot of these lanes. And that's kind of shown. Now, again, this trade is phenomenal. But you don't need to wait to get to this point to start it. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
That's all. But again, still a good trade. Still good luck. We're pretty happy here. Now, there is a fight bottom left that has nothing to do with you, but it's a bit weird looking. Really hope it goes okay. Cool. I like that you're not thinking about rotating. I know that seems insignificant, but a lot of people would. I love this here, though. This is phenomenal. Like, going for this fight here right away is great. I think your sense is kind of scamming you here a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is really comfy for you. If it is, no problem. If you can snap faster here, you do kill him. I play in very high sense, so I'm a bit biased, but like right here, if you can turn this quicker, I promise you, if a Mulan's ulting away like this, or a Hercules is dashing away, or I'm thinking of any kind of direct line of movement ability, like a Thor hammer away or something, you have enough movement to just like turn around and ult them and kill them every time. So this ult is good if you just turn a little bit quicker here, or if you really want, you can just turn ahead of time and just ult it. But like right here, if you just turn this ult, you do kill him. So keep that in mind. This has happened like the second time this game, so just something good to remember. Nonetheless, though, because again, you can take a little bit of a tower, you know, if you need to. This guy is super in sync here, though, and I like that you snap on it. Really good luck. So a great solo over here. Team fight on duo went a bit awry, but that's not our concern right now. Great look. Obviously, we want to go do rocks here and this wave, which it looks like we're doing. Cool. Great. Okay. Really good. Yeah, this whole look was quite nice. Now, this guy's here. You should be completely fine. The 3's off the mark, which is a bit unlucky, but it shouldn't matter too much. Yeah, we're okay. Cool. All right, we should look for a back here. We do. And now we're going to have... Okay, let's see what happened here. Now, this is important. This is very subtle, but this is important because this is probably going to be a consistent theme for the rest of this game. When it comes to fight selection, as we were talking about earlier, you want to take easy wins that you can, but you also want to rotate only if you know you can do something. And this little path in here, I think, is really pointless. It's not actually a big deal. But I feel like you see this happening over here, and you're like, I should come over to this because there's something going on, right? That's probably what's
Uh-huh.
happening here. I think, and this is going to get easier as you like continue to look at these, but when you look at these through the walls and stuff, and obviously if you have comms, it helps, but if you look at these fights through the walls and you're like, this is kind of far, which it is, you just don't show up. Like, straight up. If it's too far and it's too out of the way, by the time you show up, it's going to be gone. So you're going to get better at reading this as you, like, do this more and you see this more. But, yeah, if it, like, looks kind of gone, it's probably gone. Rotating over is really just going to delay yourself. So, you know, our job and goal at this point is going to be to try to, you know, farm fast, shove out the wave, whatever, and then look to hover and kind of make rotations like that. But we want to make sure that, you know, we don't overextend and overchase to something. That wasn't a problem. I'm just saying that probably will be something that's a thing a lot of solos like kind of get wrong. But I do like that we're shoving here. I think after this shove, you can kind of do a couple of things. You can kind of just sit on your hands, which is fine. Or just like go on him, and I prefer you go on him, and it looks like you will, so that's good. Great, yeah, really good fight there. That was perfect. And I think after this shove, something I want you to think about right now is that like you're like kind of beating his ass like pretty hard.
Uh-huh.
So this lane's going great, and that's awesome. When it comes to rotating, because this is I think where people get tricked up, it's a lot easier than you would think. So right now you have fast TP up, right? The
Yeah.
easiest way to rotate is just going to be you calling right now and seeing that gold and pyromancer are up and literally just saying attack one of them and either walking over or resetting and walking over. It's that simple. You want to call it ahead of time. And this is again because you're stronger and because you're ahead. And you just rotate to the objective and just force it. And what's going to happen is let's say you start hitting the pyromancer. If they don't show up, you're just going to get it with your team. Or the gold fairy. It could be either one. Gold's more reward, pyro's easier to do because it's closer, so it's like your call on that. You can also look at your teammates and see how they're doing, and you can say like my duo lane is kind of struggling, but my mid jungle is doing good. So Pyro's going to be easier because it won't involve the duo lane, right? These are things you can consider. But the simplest way to put it is I'm stronger than this guy. I'm going to go to an objective. If they don't show up, we'll get it. And if they do show up, we're just going to fight them around the objective and we should be pretty happy because they're going to feel like they can steal it or something like that. They're going to walk up and we're just going to fight them. So the easiest thing to do here is pre-fire that you're going to something by calling to whatever objective you choose, and they're both fine. I would choose Pyro here because, again, your dual lane's behind, right? So you can just get a quick look at the levels and see like, oh, this guy's 13, this guy's 10. Doesn't feel that good. Call attack Fire Giant, meaning Pyro, obviously, and if you're in comms with somebody, this is very easy. And back right now, and then just like walk over. And I'm saying to back because you have enough for Berserkers, so I just want you to have that item spike. I mean, I'm saying after this wave, obviously. But like, yeah, you call it ahead of time because you want to call your things ahead so your teammates know what you're trying to do ahead of time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that simple, and that way they can like be a little bit more privy. This lingering is just a little like, it's not bad. Like you're gonna get the rocks again and stuff, so I don't want to make it seem like it's bad. But you probably want to try to use your lead like in a more productive way than just the lane. If there's an easy play to make, if there's not, this is completely fine. But if there is an easy play to make, it's probably the right idea. Rocks are up. You can do these or you can rotate right away. You're gonna do the rocks. That's fine. And it looks pretty messy in mid, but actually decent. So I guess all good. All right, cool. And yeah, we're just going back to clearing, which is fine. Again, if you're getting stuff in the lane, it's kind of okay to just chill there, which you are. I'm just saying if you do want to call a rotation, which you can and you're able to at this point. It looks like they're going to go gold right now. Why are they going gold? See this guy? Where is he going? This way. There's also a Kurtanos here a little bit before. Where is he going? This way. They probably should go on this. I would definitely go on gold if I was red team here. I think Pyro is very pullable if you can spot that, like right now, to just walk straight over. If you don't spot that and you just stay to clear, this is fine. The thing with objectives is they are not very intuitive. They're kind of hard to spot and figure out and do. I wouldn't expect a demigod player to call that, to be honest, but they actually don't do gold, and that's exactly the point. That was a free gold for them, they just didn't even know, right? So these are not intuitive or easy calls, I want to be very clear. But just try to like look sometimes and see like how advantageous am I actually, and like what does that mean? Because what it really means is that if you go to a fight and Mulan goes to a fight, you guys should win the fight, right? Right now. So probably what's gonna happen is you're gonna get wave priority in your lane, and you're gonna go somewhere, and the Mulan just like won't show up. That's probably what's gonna happen because she kind of can't. So it's really nice, I think, to think of it just that simply of like if I go somewhere, it's probably a good look. If I don't go somewhere, probably either a mixed look or like nothing's gonna happen super great at the very least. Sorry, also though, we do have this Queen Naga coming up, so there is that. And that should help a good bit. So if you want to like not rotate, which you haven't yet, and again, I want to be clear, you not rotating is like fine so far. This Queen Naga is the place to go though, because this is like worth more than a gold generally. So if you're gonna choose between Queen or gold, you should choose the Queen. And hopefully you guys don't just lose it right now. Are they on it? No. Okay, good. Now, easiest thing here, shove this wave first. If your wave is pushing into their tower, you're happy. If the waves are meeting like this and you can make them, not just kill each other, that's better. Because the idea here is really, really simple. If you're in team fights and your waves are pushing into their towers, that means you probably got the waves ahead of time. So for the Mulan to contest this camp, right, she needs to forgive and lose a wave into her tower that you push. But if you don't clear the wave and she doesn't clear the wave and you both show up, what's the difference? The difference is that neither of you are coming in with an advantage. You're ahead, but I'm saying like in the given fight. You know what I mean? Nobody has an advantage. But if you push this wave ahead of time, what are you deciding? she has to either defend her tower or defend this. And the point is that even if her tower lives, she misses a full wave and you don't. So it's really, really good if ahead of objectives you can just shove your wave, and you always should try to if it's available. Because that means, let's say this objective is not doable, which obviously it is, and you'll get it. If nothing happens around the objective, you're up a wave and she's up nothing, right? So she is actually falling behind for doing the exact same thing you were doing just because you cleared that wave ahead of time. Whereas when this is the case, if nothing happens here, which again, it will happen, but let's say nothing did happen, you're getting nothing and she's getting nothing, that's not so great, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Further extension of this, like I want you to just go back to this and shove this. This is kind of what I mean. When I talk about objective rotations and plays, this was great. What you did here was pretty good. But I want you to do it and then like go back to the other things. I think you should think of objective fights as like quick and decisive in the sense of after an objective, we're looking to go back to what we were doing beforehand and just kind of continuing to farm. Even this little linger, I'm not going to like blow it up to be the end of the world, but kind of like, remember that time you chased the Aladdin and I was like, hey, you had a guaranteed win and you kind of left it? This wave on right, if you really think about it, is kind of the same thing. It's a guaranteed win. It's 1536. You kill this thing, and you could have just went back right here and just kind of kept clearing and kept fighting, but what do we do now? We try to chase this guy, and it looks like he ends up dying. Did you need to be there, though? I don't
No.
think so. Yeah, right. Like, if he's caught, he's caught. If he's not caught, he's not caught.
Yeah.
But now, like, we're continuing to group. Remember, 1546, or was it 36? I think it was 46. No, 40. Maybe it was. I don't know. It was 1536-ish. Let's say 1538. We had the thing done.
He's also just playing stupid.
Now that entire wave I told you to clear is dead. There is a new wave coming. Mulan is in mid. Imagine if you were right here, how fucked this Mulan would be. She would have nothing to do, right? Because her
Yeah.
right wave would get shoved in. She'd be losing this tower, and she'd be in mid doing what? Literally nothing. This Mulan can't do anything here. So it's so suffocating if you literally just like play the game normally here and farm. Now she decides to take a fight, which is a terrible fight, and she ends up just inting. That's great, but you could have forced probably more for yourself by just staying right, and then Mulan would have to take the walk of shame over, and it just would have really sucked. So being places first feels phenomenal, and I really want you to keep that in mind in general, that I can just shove. Like right here, I want you to probably just back. Again, I think you end up lingering for a bit too long. I
Yeah.
think this is very much lingering. And to me, all of this is like circling around is just this idea of like when we take a win, we just need to leave with the win. You know what I mean? Because this
Uh-huh.
entire premise, like right here, we're looking at like 16-14 as like we can just walk down here towards this red buff or like this pyro pit area, just dash out right now to your left, back right here and come back for this ritual if we want to play it. Instead, we are backing, we die. No, so we don't even get a back off, right? Like we end up just dying. And this is all because we're just like staying for nothing, right? Because what exactly are you here for? Like genuinely, do you know at this
But
point?
well, I saw that
Mhm.
right here. I see 7 seconds on the mid
Mhm.
thing, so I was like, oh, let
Yeah.
me stay and try and get that ahead. But I
Right.
think
Mhm.
hindsight, it's 2020. That was definitely I'm like half
Definitely.
health.
Yeah. 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 Mhm. No, totally fair. Look, totally fair. So here's the thing. I don't. I don't dislike that. I think that's actually super reasonable. But I think the problem with that is if you can see that that was at 7 seconds at that time, you can also see that it's at 33 right now. Correct?
Uh-huh.
Player.
So you can see it's at 33, and you say, okay, I'm going to take this fight. Not a bet, not a big deal. You take this fight goes well. Cool. So the fight is done. It should be done. I think something that's going to really help you change how you perceive fights is I want you to fight around objectives, and if kills happen, not the other way around. This is very much a we're fighting for kills, and then we see, oh, there's an objective coming up, we might as well do it, right? That's not
Hmm.
a great look, and that's not a great philosophy. If you flip it to I'm fighting for objectives, and if there's a fight happening, great, you're going to show up prepared and much stronger. If you see this is at 21 seconds right now, and you say, I'm going to back and come to this ritual, completely fine with that. I think it's a good call. The problem here is that we linger a little bit because we're like kind of looking at these guys, this Ares is kind of playing up. and you're still sort of like looking, I'm not really sure what for. It seems like maybe to peel him or to help him or maybe do something here. But this little like overstay dance is just messy. And if you say at this point, okay, I see this thing, the correct read here is I'm going to back so I'm really strong here for this fight, and I'll be a little bit late, but I'll make up for it in the fact that I'm going to be really useful. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than like I'm weak, but I'm going to stay because it's coming up. That's not really the correct way to look at it, especially when you're ahead. You know what I mean? You being ahead and strong and like present full is very important. Where you being weak and like not that strong and thinking you just have to be here is very like anti what your game state is showing. So I just want you ahead of time to think for like objectives and stuff that like again I would argue all of this started from not just like going to waves and stuff like that. But if you want to come to this ritual or you want to be at this ritual, no problem. Make sure you're strong before you get there though. You don't want to be half health walking to something. You don't want to be weak walking to something. You don't want to be weak staying for something. So even like literally right here after this Aladdin kill, if you say to yourself, I want to rotate to the ritual, just like for Gold Fury or something, just say attack mid or whatever, go play for yourself and reset and make sure you're there as it spawns, right? You could just do that, correct? Like this is
Yeah.
completely reasonable to do. And it's actually good Smite to do. The reason why I want you to shove right here and the reason I was mentioning it is because you'll just like get the farm you want to then be able to do anything you want. So it's still the same thing. It's just a way that you get more concentrated amounts of farm, and this isn't coming up for a while. So really, again, what it comes down to with these objectives is just like if you have a plan ahead of time, even if it's a soft plan, when we're walking out of base and stuff, we have a lot of dead time. So you can just kind of look at the map and see like, is there something coming up that I can do? Because I promise you, if you commit this back here and you are like dialed in on the fact of like this ritual is coming up in 20, let's play it, good things are going to happen. You know what I mean? But you didn't make this plan until you made it late, right? You made this plan here. And the problem with that is number one, if you backed here, this still would have been okay. I promise you, it still would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't. But what you're gonna realize that as a player, and the reason I'm like drilling in these patterns so much, is that the better you get, the quicker you make these decisions. And if you can make these decisions quicker, you're gonna have a lot more success. It's the hesitancy, the slowness, the kind of delay that makes these fights very bad, right? I want to give you a perfect example on the map right here. Notice your Bari, she's one shot, correct?
Yeah.
This ritual's coming up. What does she do? She stays to do a back camp and then back. That's terrible. Like, awful. Very bad. Your jungler who you're queued with, he's low right now. He continues to stay. Awful. Back, come back. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
this is not a you thing and nobody else is doing this. This is a endemic problem that players have and they don't understand why they're losing games. And it's stuff like this, you know what I mean? Where there's like very important things that are going to happen. And instead of just taking the back and getting the power spike that you can afford, they overstay for like abstract reasons that don't actually do anything, right? Which is more important, this back camp or this ritual? The ritual, right?
Yeah. Ritual.
Which is more important, this XP camp or the ritual? Obviously the ritual. Um, but we need to be strong for it. So if these guys ahead of time, instead of doing these camps, and you as well, instead of like lingering and staying in mid and doing camps or whatever, if we just back and make sure we're full health as this is spawning, we're going to win this every single time. And if we're getting objectives as they're spawning because we're strong, we're going to win the game. This is not just a ritual thing. I'm using this as a like greater example for the entire match for any objective, be it the rocks early. Remember I said at 3 minutes I want you to be at them with your jungler. If we
Mm-hmm.
play around the fact that there are important things that are coming up and we make sure we're strong for them, you do just win games. It is really that simple. The problem is, threading in that your laning phase and stuff is like good enough to not, be at a disadvantage coming into those harshly. But like again, we are ahead, so you feel great. It's just now about having the discipline individually and as a team to just like show up for these things on time and not do little lingering saying things. So if you can be very like on top of yourself in the sense of like I'm just going to make sure I'm healthy and strong for these things, you'll feel really good because this is just like a mess, right? You feel terrible here, you're very weak. And now you're getting forced out. You looks like you're going to live, but even then this all just feels so messy. And now we're back in here. This is a bit of a weird gank. I mean, I'm not killing you for dying here, but the premise beforehand is what got you killed, not that. I mean, that did get you killed, but this whole situation was very bad, right? I think you
Yeah.
can see
Yeah.
now how scuffed it was. And if we can avoid it being scuffed in the first spot, we won't have weird deaths like this nearly as often. So we do die here. Is what it is. Now I want to be clear. Ares, he's walking up here. I have no idea why. This is terrible. Bari, this is terrible. This is very bad. But you're going to have players who do stupid stuff. I want you to work on you not doing stupid stuff, right? This is going to happen. This is a fact of rank. This is a fact of team play. There's going to be people making really bad, dumb plays. These are bad, dumb plays, all of them. But if you are able to have an honestly very strong game, your win rate's going to climb, and you'll have to deal with this last, hopefully. And that's kind of all there is to it. Yeah, I mean, they're both dead here, probably, right? And this Rama's gonna die too. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at least your Hunbat saved it a little. Do you know why this fight was bad? Rough idea.
Just because they're down in numbers.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
would
I
be
mean,
my
yeah,
guess.
shit, there's like 14 guesses you could probably give here that are right. They're down in numbers, they're not grouped, right? All that stuff is gonna be really, really ugly. He also like beads late. I mean, it was just a mess. So simplest thing here is if you're down in numbers, don't fight, and if you're not grouped, also probably don't fight. And yeah, it goes very bad. So you know, this game's not lost, but I think we can kind of see like where the game is being lost slowly. And for you individually, a lot of it is just like we're not strong when we actually end up fighting because we stayed from something where we were strong, and we just like continue to stay. So I think the fight selection thing and identifying what's a good fight or a bad fight based on how you individually feel is very relevant. Your teammates are factors in that. Like if your teammates feel weak and you feel strong, it might still be bad. But I want at the very least you to feel strong for the fights you're showing up for. You know what I mean? That's the most
Mhm.
important thing, because that's the easiest to control thing. So cool. We're going back to right. Um, I don't think you need to be the level adjacent with the minute. So some people say you should be level 18 at 18 minutes. I think that's bad advice. But what I will say is like, considering that you were level 16 and the Mulan was level 13, you still being 16 and the Mulan is level 15 should probably set off an alarm bell that like this entire thing was really scuffed. So it's a very good way to like not hindsight look at, but say like, man, I really need to like make sure I'm actually farming and just shoving sides and stuff because like we haven't leveled up in like 3 minutes, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's a bit rough. And that's why, like I say, shove the lanes, rotate for the fight on the objective, and then go back to the shove lanes. Because what ended up happening is you didn't shove the lane, you got the objective, and then you just like kept fighting. You know what I mean? And then another objective came up, but because you were never farming for yourself, you were low and under farmed, and it's just like a bit sad. Your Hunbats, who was farming even when I think he should have been fighting, at the very least is just like a level 18, right? So if you were level 18 too right now, you'd feel pretty good, and you could have been, right? Very easily.
Hmm.
It wasn't a mechanic. Again, like I want to be clear, mechanics here, have you made any big mechanical mistakes this game that I've mentioned? I've mentioned the ultimates, you could have been a little snappier with the sensitivity if you just like whipped around faster. I've mentioned that you could have like held your ultimate more when the Aladdin ganked you. But like I haven't really talked about like, oh man, you're just like missing things these fights, you know what I mean? Has that really been a
Yeah.
thing? No. And that's good. And it's highlighting a very important tension point of like you're not having mechanical troubles at all here. You're not losing this game or having. I mean, you're still playing good. I want to be clear. You're probably playing the best or second best on your team so far. But you don't have mechanical issues. That's not really a thing here. You know what I mean? It's literally just like making some decisions quicker or not at all, and changing those patterns. And as long as you can consistently diagnose those patterns and like be aware of what's going wrong, you're gonna climb. And that's the thing. And I think the reason why like you're gonna be able to climb after this is very simple. It's just seeing like, hey, there are some things I keep doing that I shouldn't be doing, and if I can stop doing those, it's really, really good. Notice Gold Fury coming up soon. Probably something you want to be at generally. The problem is you're not as ahead as you were, So it doesn't feel that good to rotate. So what are you probably going to do? Just play your waves and stuff. If you play your waves earlier instead of that whole mid debacle, you'd be more ahead and you'd probably feel better to rotate because you didn't feel like you needed to catch up, right? On the map.
Hmm.
That's why playing those side pushes and stuff when we're like strong on the map and things went well is so important because then you're able to sacrifice farm later to make things happen. I feel like you're not able to do that anymore because you didn't farm earlier. Do you see what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
very like spiraling on the previous moment. And you're making the right call here, but it just feels a bit bad. And that's why it feels a bit bad because you didn't do it earlier. But this is the right move right now. Like you're doing the right thing. It just sucks a bit. Just shove this, by the way. Like this is what I meant by, remember I said you can look through walls and kind of see how this is going. You're really far away. This doesn't look that good. I want you to just shove here because this fight's already over.
Hmm.
And you can probably just get this tower and then just 1v1 the Mulan. Instead, you're going to walk all the way over here. And I don't think you're gonna get a kill. Maybe you will. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this just like looks like a lot of time committed. Okay, you'll probably kill Ganesha here. Alright, that's nice. It is 1, so it's something. But you're probably either dead here or getting nothing. Yeah. Yeah, right. So, feels like shit, doesn't it? This sucked, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, it sucked. For sure. Completely reasonable. I think if you want to put this in a bottle, you can say my ADC is very far behind. We're losing the game because of that, and that's probably true. But if we never take this fight because we can identify all the way over here that this is really far away, and you probably won't be here within a reasonable amount of time, and you just shove right here, what's going to happen? You're going to get this tower, Mulan's going to show up, and who's stronger, you or Mulan? It should still be you. You just 1v1 her, maybe kill her, maybe not. But if you kill her, you get a tier 2. If you don't kill her, you force her out, and you're still happier than she is, right?
Hmm.
Play for yourself. You're a solo laner with a lead. If the fight is too far and it's a bad fight, you showing up late is only going to hurt you. And again, that just is going to be determinant on like how close the fight is, how it's looking, rough idea. And if it's looking okay and it looks like you can reach it, go for it. But I think you can tell me in hindsight, looking back at this, that this is very far away and this does not look like you'll be here in time, right?
And it
So
looks
this is,
losing too,
it
I
looks
feel
losing
like.
too. It is, yeah, 100%, right? You can tell right about here when your buddy's lamped. This looks really lost on the health bars, right? Like
Yeah.
it looks terrible.
Yeah.
So totally fine. This is the type of stuff you want to look at. Just literally take 3 seconds here if you need to. Take a quick look and say, is this good or bad? And if the answer, and mind you, I want to be very clear. You're going to go into a rank game after this, or like later, whenever, and like try to apply some of these things, and you might not get it very quickly or right away in terms of like you might read this and you might already be like in the fire pit by the time you read that this is bad. But even if you're in the fire pit and you read this is bad, I don't want you to say, fuck it, I'm already committed, I may as well come over. No, no, no. If it's bad, leave. Like don't think like I'm just gonna keep going because I'm no, 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 no. If it's over, it's over. It is what it is. You dying does not make them feel better, right? So
Uh-huh.
no problem. But yeah, it's a bit because I feel like at this point you realize how fucked this is, but you're still just like, well,
Like, let's just force something,
let's just force
basically.
something. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which again, if you want to force something, hey, I don't mind, but where should we force something on this gold, right? So this whole fight is terrible for that premise too. We should
Uh-huh.
be fighting on the gold. That's not your fault though. They got picked. Again, that's not your problem. That just it is what it is. Um so yeah. Now also here though, to be fair, like right here, you could also just not ult in and you'd live. So there is like that to be said, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if you hit the Kern, maybe he dies. I mean, I think he has a relic up, but yeah, I mean, he is quite ahead. A damn shame. He is up. Oh yeah, it's looking grim over there. All right, fair enough. I mean, it happens. But like to be very clear, like I think if you were having a slightly better game state and stuff, this game would have been, and it's still winnable at this point, but it would have been a lot closer at this point. And like this game is definitely a winnable match, and it was a winnable match, and it will continue to be for a bit longer. Even with like an ADC black hole. So that's like pretty encouraging. Because he's not a very safe god. Like you can kind of just kill this Kern with your bats if you take a good fight and you're like not super behind him, but that's just getting a bit dodgy as time passes.
Hmm. So here, should I
Hmm.
be trying to shove out the wave before I move
Yeah,
over
yeah, yeah.
into this team fight? Like, is that
Perfect.
something I should be thinking
100%.
about? Okay.
100%. So, right here, this wave is a little shoved in already. So the next one's a bit far. If you think you can get this wave safely, yes, and you probably can. I think you should, right? Like, unless these guys are like really in there, but notice the Ares wind sprite's over. If you turn around right here and just do this, I'm really happy with it. Like, it's perfect though. That's the exact point. Because nothing's gonna happen for a little bit, and then they're gonna pull pyro. But like, as you noticed right now, like what's actually happening right now? Nothing, right? There is a gear up for a fight that hasn't started. So you standing here doesn't actually accomplish anything for you or your team. If you went to this wave first, hit this wave, and then walked over, he's bleeding the wave, you get the tier 1, you're very happy, right? So 100%, that's kind of the point. And that's how in team fights, solo laners are able to like stay relevant farm-wise and stuff. And it's literally just like doing things quicker. I think what you're going to notice in these lobbies is there is so much like hesitancy to do anything in team fights. Nobody's doing anything right now. And I'm not saying they should be, but if you're not going to be doing anything and you know ahead of time nothing's going to happen for a little bit, you catching this wave first and then quickly coming over, you're really not losing anything. You're just getting a free wave, right?
Hmm.
Um, Now, obviously, if you walk to the solo wave now, probably a difference,
So
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Probably a difference. But if you're doing it ahead of time before people are super grouped and they're kind of getting their feet set still, it's really, really good. Um, Now let's see what happens here. This looks a bit scuffed. Now, what's the actual correct play here to do as a team? They're ahead. It's their prerogative to do stuff, make them do stuff, and then fight them as they try to do the stuff. So they should pull pyro, see what it looks like. If it's defendable, defend it. If it looks kind of sketchy, wait, give them pyro, defend fire. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You want these objectives to be the problem for them, where they feel like, how are we going to do this in front of the enemy team? I don't think you should look for your own initiation unless it's really, really good because you're behind, right? Now this Ares is fine. You're also okay. A little scary looking, but we're good. But that's the primary goal. We want to make sure they feel forced to do something, not the other way around. I don't love your positioning here. This looks kind of scary. Agreed? We're
Hmm.
really, really far up. We're kind of in the belly of the beast. Again, I want you to remember that they need to force these objectives to justify a good fight. If they're not on these objectives, is there anything for us to actually fight for? No, right? Like if they're hitting our Phoenix, yeah, we can fight them. But if they're
But
not
yeah,
hitting an objective or a tower or something like that, we're kind of just grouped up staring at them and we're fighting them for nothing. Now, if you can get a good fight because they're overextended, that's a completely different matter. But this, like, is very forced and it's very unnecessary. And as you're going to notice, it's also very bad, right?
yeah,
So why is this actually bad? Because again, we're behind, right? That's the big thing. Did you have to take this fight? Probably not, right? There wasn't actually any reason to. I know your jungler goes in, but did he have to go in? No, he didn't. He chose to. He didn't have to. If he found an angle, great. And I think he ends up soloing this Aladdin. I'm happy about that, right? Like, that's good. Completely fine. But, like, what is actually the issue here? The issue here is that this fight did not need to happen. It's just happening for no reason, right?
hmm,
You guys are behind. Make them push the objective that's actually a problem, and it's going to go a lot better. Now, that being said, here your bats to your Cubith gets lamped. He ends up killing the guy. So if he's confident that this looks okay, this is still a little bit playable. How do we actually play this though? We don't ult in right away. You have the right idea, but I think you're panicked here a little bit.
hmm.
So what's happening here is this guy's in the lamp with this guy. So it's a 1v1 isolated and here. Your backline is back here. What is their backline doing currently? They're here,
They're
back
just
here.
yeah,
They're just
they're
back here.
casting on our backline.
No, they're not. They're just back here. They haven't done anything yet. They're
Okay.
there. They're going to maybe be casting, but actively is this Agni doing any damage? No. Actively, where's their current? You don't even see him, so he's clearly not doing anything, right?
Hmm.
He's somewhere back here, we can guess. And he is. We end up seeing him in a second. But currently, they're doing nothing, okay? Now, this is extremely, extremely important for team fights. If a backliner, right? What is a backliner's job? It's very, very simple. To do damage, correct?
Mhm.
So if a backliner is not doing damage, what are they doing? Literally nothing. Like, and I cannot stress this enough, if a backliner is not doing damage, literally nothing. How many times have you lost a ranked game, you look at your ADC, they do 10k damage, and you say, no wonder we lost? Happens
Yeah.
all the time. So if they're
Yeah.
not doing damage, they're doing nothing. Currently, this Agni is sitting on a goose egg of damage, okay? Very, very relevant. Now, your Ares walks up to ult, okay? What is this Agni doing damage-wise? A little bit to the mitigations Ares in his ultimate. Is that relevant? Not really. Their Kurnonos still has not done a single tick of damage. Is your Rama full health? Yes. Is your Bari full health? Yes. I'm not expecting you to get all of this in the frame of the fight happening, but the big context that I want you to get is that the backliners, their backliners, are actually not actively doing a single thing. Therefore, we don't need to do anything until they come into a point of where they're actually doing damage. If you hold the angle that you're at right now, let these people walk in further and then ult them, it's really good. But if they're not doing damage, they're effectively dead at the moment because they're doing
Mhm.
nothing. So, if they're doing nothing, then that's really good. You know, you're probably going to have a good fight if they're doing nothing. The problem here is that this Agni is getting ulted. He ends up beadsing it, and you ult on top of the guy who's getting ulted, and he gets
Yeah.
double beads value, and it's a complete mess, right? Complete mess. But if you never ult here, notice the Kurnos, guess what he's done so far this fight? Nothing. Who does he end up autoing this entire fight? You, right? Why is he able to
Yeah.
auto you? Because you're in front of him. If you just hold that angle there, this Kern has done 0 damage the entire fight, and he has to walk into you, who has an ult ready, to play the game. That's a really bad situation for them, right? Like, that's not a good look. This fight is really, really scuffed for their backline because they're out of position because they're not close enough. So if you literally just wait for them to show up to do relevant amounts of damage, you can fight them. But you don't need to chase the guys who are going to come to you anyways, right? You want to just
Mhm.
restrict the movement. So the very simplest, easiest way to look at team fights as a hard dive god like Bellona, and it's a little bit different for a character like Amaterasu, and it can be different for Wukong, but usually not for Wukong. Um, which obviously I'm mentioning because those are the gods you mostly play.
Yeah.
Is it's very simple to just say, hey, if these backliners are not doing damage, then they're effectively dead. Would I be ulting on people who are effectively dead? Probably not, because they're not doing anything. So let them come in to actually deal damage, but until they're dealing damage, I don't need to chase them. Is chasing people usually a good idea in a MOBA? Probably not. You probably want to fight who's close and who's easy to hit. So if they're not doing anything, our backline is free casting on the Mulan right now. I know you ult past so you don't see, but you literally can just wait. Like, if you just wait here, you're super happy, right? Do you see this here? How, like, easy this is if you just chill for a second?
And kind of
Mm-hmm.
wait for them to walk up
Kind of wait
is
for them,
kind of
and then
what
you
you're
just have
saying.
you just have a double ult, like, super
Uh-huh.
easily, right? And the other thing too is, like, if you want to even slow this down in a slightly different way, you can just kind of hold this angle, wail on this Ganesha a little bit, and as the Kurnonos walks up, just disarm him and continue to wail on the Ganesha, and then ult him after the disarm. Completely fine. The point is that if I'm able to deny the backline doing damage while keeping my health high, I have the best of both worlds, right? I'm
Mhm.
keeping them from playing the game while staying healthy. I think the best marks of a solo is if they're able to do that. And I don't want you to ult in unless you feel like you have to and it's a good fight. And right now, do you have to ult in? Not really. Because nobody's really under any threat and you don't actually have a phenomenal angle. Your angle is okay, but it's not phenomenal. Because again, like, it's a bit forced, it's a bit deep, it's a little bit split. And, like, you know, the fight doesn't end up going that well on the other side of it, to be totally fair. I think that just comes from your team still just being behind at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So that comes into earlier fight selection. But given the fact that we are behind and this fight does exist here, if we literally just walk up, continue to auto the Ganesha, and then play to ult these guys as they get a little bit closer, I think you have a really, really perfect fight here brewing. And the only big thing I want you to take away from this is just, now also very clear here, if we have our disarm up, please disarm the guy hitting you with the auto attacks, not this dude. Don't worry about him. Disarm this guy right behind you, because
Uh-huh.
that's the ADC. But if we have this fight here and backliners are not actually doing anything yet, we don't need to like force them because they're going to feel the pressure to do damage. You know what I mean? So they're going to walk up, let them walk up. That's all. You ult the backliners when they're a threat. You don't ult them before they're a threat because then you just give them what they want. And it's quite dodgy. Now also here I want to be clear. I think a lot of times this game there has been kind of dodgy engages, or maybe not engages, but like in the laning phase, even on the Mulan. Remember when I told you to just like hold your ground and die on the
Mm-hmm.
hill? Even here, I know this isn't good and you're gonna die, but you're gonna die anyways. Just like hold your ground and just kind of send it here. Because if you get number one, if you get your dash off onto this Kurnos instead of the Agni, because another thing here too, this is somewhat instructive. This Agni is kind of out, right?
Yeah,
And
like half health.
yeah, he's kind of out. He's kind of half health. This fight's not going to go well because like the ult was again a bit forced and stuff, so it probably won't go great. But if you
Mm-hmm.
just go straight onto this Kurnanos with this one, like right now, you just won him right now, and then you just kind of like die autoing them, you're still going to achieve a lot here. I think the biggest problem is that we're 2200 health currently, and I know we get CC'd and we lose a lot. I also don't think you should ever be bludgeoning in front of the Ganesha because of the silence. I think
Uh-huh.
you just stay in the one and you just kind of auto this guy till you die. I know it feels counterintuitive, but you're going to achieve so much more dying with them on you in an awkward angle with your backline still having the ability to do something rather than like literally doing 0 damage at this point. You know what I mean?
And just
Like
giving
yeah,
up all the space to them.
yeah, exactly, right? And it's like if you're gonna because look, that ultimate is your all in. You're committing for that, right? One way or
Mm-hmm.
another. That's why you want to make sure the ult is good in the first place. But you have to just kind of send it there. And what you'll find is overall, you're going to get a lot more damage more often than you would think by just ulting and holding the line, even if it's not the best angle, than ulting and then trying to wiggle your way out. It's just going to be so much less effective. And you'll probably die anyways. That's the thing. So much better you just stick it and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we lose mid though. It's still not the end of the world. Remember, I did say that I want these fights to be around the fires, right? And I want you to defend fights around the fire. That whole fight did not need to happen. So it's okay, but that's really, what we're hoping for here. We want to get vision on this, hopefully. Uh-oh. Jeez, okay, we're good. And we can just kind of like try to word this up and just wait around it.
So pushing out the wave right now, is that not a good idea to be
Well,
doing, or is
it is
that
already
okay?
pushed out, so you don't really need to. If there was a
Uh-huh.
wave here, then yeah, it would be quite good too, I think, because
Okay.
you really need to get some XP. But yeah, but in general, yes, right? Now you guys are going for a sneak. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of coin flipping the game. I guess if it does work, it's good. If it doesn't work, it's very bad. It's not working, so it's very bad. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's very scuffed. You know that. I know that. We both know that, and you're dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, this feels a little goofy. What I'll say with this is like I don't think this was ever gonna work, to be honest. I think this was just a bad call. That being said, if this call is gonna happen, you should just ult this. Zero ult gives your team increased damage. In the
Really?
circle.
Okay.
Yeah, and prots. Yeah, so I wouldn't call this, by the way. This is a bad call. But if you're gonna do this, number one, your bat should come over, and so should your Bari. Your Bari is collecting 30 gold in mid lane, so that's lovely. So if your Bari came right away, like, okay, if your team just like walked over, this actually isn't even that bad. It's a bit sketchy, don't get me wrong, but it's not that bad. But they didn't. So I think you should identify that like this is not going to work. I should just not walk up. Like
Mm-hmm.
these words are fine. I don't mind these words, but you continue to linger here. And you're playing a zone, but the problem with playing a zone is like I don't really think this is very good because this look how healthy this still, you know what I mean? Like your
It's
actual
not
rate
even
of damage is
close.
yeah, it's not even close, right? So we're playing a zone, which is the wrong look. What you're looking to do here, this call sucks. I need to triple underline that. This call is garbage, so this isn't going to go well regardless. But your best bet here is to actually play in the fire pit, and as they walk up, very similar to the last fight, you ult them as they come in, right? Or you do damage to them as they come in, and you just like flip the fight. Again, this call here is we're gonna win or lose the game on this play. Most likely lose. This is a very poor flip, but it is a flip.
Mhm.
Playing a zone here is not actually what you want because you can't actually zone them. You want them to come to you and then you kill them. But if you're walking up on them and trying to force them out, what's going to happen? You're just going to be isolated and take a lot of damage like this, and it's going to be really, really bad. I won't kill you for this because I think this whole premise is just very fucked up, to be honest. You did have Shell up there, sadly, but nonetheless, in general, with the firefights, if the damage is really high on your draft and you can actually get the objective, you play to zone. If it's not very high, you're playing to fight and get kills. And if you're playing to fight and get kills, you need to posture closer to your team and ult as they come in. Or like play with your team as they come in and play to kill the people as they walk up to try to steal or fight. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So it's literally just identify, are we able to kill this? If the answer is no, play further back, and if the answer is yes, play further up. Like not further than you are right now. This is a good spot. But like you're a shield if your team can do it, and you are a, I don't know, not a shield if your team can't do it. You're with everybody a little bit more. Cuz you like, mind you, if they're killing this is great. You know what I mean? Your spot, but they're not. So if not, you may as well cradle kind of in the pit towards the side, like where my cursor is, like in there on this other side of the wall,
Mhm.
and then just like go on them as they come in. It's not great because the fight is bad, but like that is the best play. So that's a good way to read firefights in general. Now they end up getting something out of it, which is kind of nice. So it's actually not the end of the world. They did get fire, but it's only on 3, so you're actually not super unhappy with that. Now here, so this is gonna be a little tricky to explain, but I'll try to explain it very easily. When a team has fire and you're losing, you should guess that you're probably going to lose the game. Okay, let's just be honest here. That's probably going to happen. You might still win, it's winnable, but you probably more often than not will lose. So, if you probably will lose, it's good to take calculated risks to increase your chances of winning, even if they are potentially game losing plays, right?
Mhm.
So, that fire call, the reason why I didn't love it was you guys were losing, but they didn't have fire yet, and I don't think you had to make that type of a risk. That being said, you guys got 2 off with fire, so they only have 3 with fire. Generally, when a team has a lead, they want to go down duo side and get the duo Phoenix. Do you understand why? It's for the fire waves. Do you know why that's like important there? Or not really?
Because it's like furthest away from Fire
Yeah,
Giant.
100%. 100%. So for the next fire, because usually that first fire is not ending the game, usually the fire here is going to be a way to get this Phoenix, and then the next fire will end the game. And they won't be able to defend the next fire very easily because they have fire weaves going down this lane, right? So that's
Mhm.
generally the idea. So the first fire should generally be set up for this Phoenix to then win the game afterwards. But what that means for you now on defense is that that's what they want to do, correct? So we know they want to go to gold, get this, and then either hit or tighten or reset and go to the next fire, right? Depending on how well this goes. So I want you to just like send it right now. You can't fight. They have fire. We're behind. We've already decided that. You This isn't a good idea. Just go right and just shove here. And if people come over, you walk away. And if they
Mhm.
flank you and group up and kill you top right and you die, your team should push mid, should push left, and the best counter push they have is a right tier 2 and maybe a right Phoenix. But again, we've established that this is less relevant than losing these, correct?
Yeah.
So, you being up here and dying has virtually zero impact aside from you dying, which is like annoying, but it doesn't really matter. So, these are the kind of things of when I talk about cross mapping from behind, that's what I mean. I've talked about it in a couple of videos, but the simplest way to put it is we are behind, we do not want to interact with them. Let's literally go wherever they're not and just push. That's it. So if we predict that they're going to be over here because it is their best play to make, does any of these 4 people being here make any sense? Literally no. This is all terrible. All of this sucks. Like, I can't stress this enough. All this sucks. Your
Hmm.
Hunbat should be pushing mid. You should be pushing right. Your Rama should be right with you, or mid, or back. But like, we need 2 people, 1 person shoving here, 1 person shoving here. But if you're already here, I want you to go right. Because this is the most valuable and safest thing for you to do. It's safer for you to be right where my cursor is right now than it is to be in mid, which looks ridiculous, but is true, right? Because they are all here. And again, if they back and they kill you, and let's say you're up at their freaking Phoenix, who cares? You know what I mean? It's such a bad tempo play because they have to reset, go to you, and then go all the way over here
They're
to
burning
do
like
what
a
they
lot of
want.
time to do that
Exactly.
as well.
That's the point. We're trying to burn time here, so we need to create pushes and threats that are actually relevant. Your Rama walking up on this wave is almost certainly a terrible idea. This contest sucks, right? Now, this could work. I'm not saying this can't work, but is this actually a quality fight? I don't think so. Again, maybe you can get a steal, and you do. That's great. I'm really happy it worked out. This is almost 100% them making a misplay and you guys getting a miracle steal. And like, I'm happy it happened. I don't think you should create your game plan around miracle steals. That's a bad play, right? Again, it worked, but that's a bad play. So it's good that you guys get it. Aladdin even ends up dying here. If you can ult out, which you do, you're probably still dead. Not that bad, honestly. What I would say here is the moment this steal happens, just leave. Wind sprite to the right here and just jump away. Like, I think you linger here and get yourself killed for nothing. The wind sprite actually goes away. It's still fine. Just ult over this wall and just walk out. These walls are going to protect you a lot more than anything else. I think your biggest issue here is you just kind of like hover a little bit aimlessly. This play was to steal gold, correct? That was the hope.
Yes.
You stole gold. What's the play now? Get out. That's it. You made the play happen. The play happened. Phenomenal. There's nothing here anymore. This fight doesn't work. Again, we've established like pretty comfortably the fights are not going to work right now, right? So you lingering doesn't really do anything for you besides maybe make you die, and that's kind of what happens. If you just like go to the left here and ult out, it's really not the end of the world, you know what I mean? But you didn't, and that's kind of what gets you killed.
So pathing straight back is kind of a throw just because they can get to me easily. Is that why you're saying go over the walls?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, I think more so it's just that like if you right now turn around and ulted out this way, like straight back, it would have been fine. I
Okay,
think
I
it's just
see.
more so that you're just like lingering. So I don't really care which way you go as long as you do it quick. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So pathing straight out now is a bit of a throw because like you're just caught. But I think pathing out anyway at this point is a bit of a throw because you're caught. But we don't
Yeah.
get caught if we don't walk around in a little like semicircle here for a little bit and then get pulled, right? So I know it's a small margin, but like we're losing the game. We kind of have to like play better if we want to win. But like we did still get the kill on the Aladdin and the steal, so it's not that bad. But you could have very easily lived here if you just ult out right now. Either around the wall, out, doesn't really matter, just anywhere but staying there for nothing.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, like I would just look at it like very simply with the same thing with like the ritual and stuff in mid. If we have an objective plan, that's our plan and that's what we're fighting for. And the moment that gets finished or whatever, I just want you ahead of time to know like if this fight is bad, we're playing to steal and then we get out. It's good even to make a mental plan of like, you know, before this even happens, we're trying to steal this and then we're gonna leave. And if we lose, we lose, right? But if you know ahead of time that you're weak and you can't fight, just like stick to that plan, you know what I mean? And you
Hmm.
should know that, and you do know that. So it's not that you don't know it. I think you just didn't have a plan ahead of time. And you made the right read, but it was just late, you know what I mean? And the
Yeah.
problem with it being late is like it gets you killed and then you die and then it's like not good. So late calls tend to be bad ones. And setting the idea ahead of time will really help you out. But sometimes that's one of those things of it just like I feel like this will happen again 100% to you. Exactly what just happened on that gold, but hopefully it happens less now that we highlighted it. And it's literally just as simple as like having an idea of what the idea is for the fight ahead of time. Because if you know you're not going to ult in, you're probably going to ult out, and if you know you're going to ult out, you may as well do it quick, right? Let's just keep our health
Hmm.
up and book it. And this guy actually ends up dying, which is quite nice. You guys don't lose the game, but you do lose the left Phoenix. How actually did this go so bad? I'm actually curious. Oh, because the... Yeah, so I mean, look, you guys... I see. So you guys stole the gold, and it still goes terrible, you know what I mean? Like, overall, because you lose left Phoenix and all that. So, you know, if you lived, could this have went better? I think so, honestly. I'm not saying it would have went great, but I think it would have went better on the Phoenix defense. But I think it does just doubly highlight that even with the Miracle Steal, this still felt pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
And if we just cross-mapped and did, like, again, these cross-map plays, how difficult are they to actually make? They're very easy. You're just shoving a wave and hitting a tower. There's nothing mechanical about it. There's nothing complicated about it. It's just identifying that you can do it. That's literally it. That's the hardest part. But in terms of actual like execution skill, there's zero. How hard is it to steal a gold from behind in this spot? It's like kind of lucky, but it's also not very easy. You just kind of have to like hope it goes okay. A lot of these like better plays are just easier to do, you know what I mean? Like if you were just right here, like right now, and your Hunbats was just mid, you guys would have gotten this tier 1 tower, you'd probably get the tier 2 tower, and they probably would have panicked and gotten off gold or finished gold and then came to you instead of going left. Or the Hunbats, you know what I mean? And then the
Yeah.
Hunbats can just run this way, and then you can just reset, and as they're chasing the Hunbats, the rest of your team can go left and shove up the left wave, and then the Hunbats dies, and then they're all up here wasting their time doing absolutely nothing. All of your waves are pushed, and you're very happy, right? So you
Mm.
just have to be decisive on cross mapping, and you're gonna have a lot of success. Uh, Again, obviously that didn't happen, and now the game is like pretty hard, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like this looks bad, right? We're obviously not in a good spot. It is a nice kill here. This Kurnos is killable. Again, really important. If you're gonna be on an auto attacker, you want him. I'm happy about this. Just like body block and just like want him. Like keep autoing. This 2
Uh-huh.
wind up. It's a very strong ability, don't get me wrong, but like your 1 gives you reflect damage. So if he's autoing you and you have your 1 on him, he's taking damage from himself, right? So you effectively have Nemean. If you just 1 pop lash and just kind of stick to him, he's gonna die like 100%.
Hmm.
If he keeps autoing, and if he doesn't keep autoing, well then he's not killing Urama, and then that's pretty good. So I think again though, do you notice how like we talk about if you're gonna commit, you kind of commit, and then we're walking away, and it's just not good. Like I promise you, if you just stick to autoing him, you're gonna be way happier, and even if you die, they're 100% all gonna die, and it's way better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think though it's interesting how something I said in the laning phase that I wanted you to do more is something that's also kind of happening in team fights, right? And again,
Uh-huh.
what's good about that though is like in most of these fights, I feel like the issues are like pretty similar. You know what I mean? In terms of like they look kind of familiar and they're not really new ones. So that means that there's not a lot of feedback points, but they're very prevalent ones, right? And that's actually really helpful because if every single fight I'm like, oh man, you did this wrong, and then this fight it was completely different. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
probably a bit sketchier, but these are like fairly consistent issues, and I think in general that's kind of what you want. Um, like I feel like what some of these disengages remind me of is like you have a Wukong Ox out or you have like an Amma dash out, but you don't. You know what I mean? So that's
Hmm.
the big difference. If you're playing Amma or Wukong and you go in right there and then you dash out, not that bad, but you don't have that here. So we just can't be doing that. Um, so, you know, some of it is just like going to be tied to the character naturally, and they do play differently. But the biggest advantage of a god like Bellona over those is that your all-in commit is much better, and that's kind of
Yeah.
why we want to stick to the commit. Where with those other gods, I might be quicker to tell you to get out, but that's because their commit doesn't work as well, and that's partially why they're weaker, but not the only reason, but you know, partially why. Okay, so left down, mid down, game is not going to be very easy at this point, truthfully. Um, we'll see what happens here. The ult looks good from your Ares. I think your ult on the Mulan is a bit unnecessary, to put it simply. Um, there's just
Yeah, I was
nothing
thinking
really
maybe I could
here.
get Aladdin there, but yeah, he just beats it, so it was
Yeah,
just
yeah. Yeah, I know, I understand. I mean, I think here, because you didn't get the Aladdin, or he didn't get the Aladdin because he beads it, like your ult being up and not used is way more effective than you having a bad ult. So like just holding it here for a better opportunity is your best bet. Because
Mhm.
like if this Aladdin jumps in now when you ult him, he's in big trouble. But like you don't have ult, so he jumps in. Like he's jumping in because you don't have ult. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
if you hold your ult, he doesn't jump in, and if he does, he dies, right? So they can't aggress if you have the threat up. And if they do aggress and you have the threat up, they're in big trouble. But because you've already used it, it's going to be a very quick time back to base. Or maybe not. Okay, you do live, but yeah, I mean, that just felt very, very sad and not good. I know that obviously you feel a bit pinched at this point, so you're probably forcing not so great looks. But yeah, best bet is to hold your ult for a good look, and I think you've kind of settled for semi-bad looks a couple times for ults this game, right? Like we've highlighted those a little bit, so it's okay to be a little like it's kind of a tricky balance, but there is a level of like my ult being up is enough of a deterrent because they know it's up, and the moment I lose my ult, I'm losing a lot of space prevention because people are going to be able to play more aggressively and like inherently, and so I'm going to settle for a great ult most of the time. You don't have to settle for a fantastic 3-mana ult, but you can settle for a good ult hit on a backliner, you know what I mean, every fight. That's like the floor, and you should be able to always get that.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, at this point, our best bet is to hope Left Phoenix can come up in time, which it looks like it probably will. And then we'll defend fire. Okay, so what happens here exactly? Your guys are kind of lingering. The shell pickup is good. Okay, cool. I mean, that was fine. No issue with that.
Honestly.
Okay, your ult is coming up, which is great. They're definitely overstaying here quite hard. I actually think right here, by the way, you just like ult. Like, I think you're
Hold the
overthinking this.
CERN.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, just go for it. Like,
And I'm
oh,
definitely
and you do,
looking
you
at
do.
it like,
Okay, you do. Okay, great. So you definitely do it. Okay, well that's fine. I thought you weren't gonna do it at all. Um, yeah, a little hesitant, but like still okay. I think he's just like inting this whole time, so you could probably just go for it right away.
hmm
The only thing here is like you do have beads now. You probably honestly might have forgotten because you just upgraded shell. Um, ult and then just beads right now, and you're beadsing right now, so this Ganesha can't do anything, and you just beads 1-3 and he's dead. So
okay.
pre-beadsing CC, I recommend if CC could potentially stop you from getting a kill that you need to get, and like you really need to get this kill, because if this guy doesn't die, it's very, very, very bad. Um, so if you beads right now, he dies, correct? Like even now,
Yeah,
at this point,
100%.
100%. I think you've forgotten to use your shell a couple of times this game, and you've forgotten to use your well, I know you just got beat, so I won't say you've forgotten to use it, but your shell, like in the death, your first blood death, um, in other times you probably could have used it and you didn't. So just really make sure that you do end up using that, because like you holding it to then not get something out of it is really quite unlucky, and obviously not great. So because he has a Reaper stack, so that's why he heals so much there, which obviously really sucks. But I mean, nonetheless, like if you do just beats 3 here, he is just dead. So like really, really make sure that if you have these relics and stuff, you may as well use them, especially in a spot like this, because it really does make a big difference here.
Hmm.
Because I feel like, yeah, I mean, this is obviously this sucks a bit, but you know, this probably was like your last chance into the game. Um, and I don't think it's gonna mean much. And the reasoning I'm saying it's your last chance into the game is if you get this kill on Kern here, your Rama is alive. Great. Ganesha probably would not have died, so just pretend Kern's dead, but Ganesha isn't. You have 4 up, it's a 4v4, and you guys should just beeline fire and just like pray. And do exactly what you did earlier in that firefight, when you guys like had the haphazard pull. And like
hmm
if you get this fire, you can probably win the game. And if you all die in the fire, it is what it is, but this is your best fight left. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why we can't do that anymore though is the Kurnos, who's a lot of damage is up, and I guess you still could do it. I don't want to say you can't do it, but it's just harder. Like I would have preferred the Ganesh should be alive than the Kurnos. You know what I mean?
100%.
So that's more so the thing. So if you right now said, you know what, let's just send it on fire, it's not a bad call. I think I had a very similar call to this in one of my recent YouTube games on RDO. I was leaning into, I think, a Bellona actually, but regardless, it was a pretty similar game state, and I just said like, let's just send a fire here, and we ended up getting it. I think we lost the game, so it didn't matter that much, but it helped the game not be insta lost, right? So that play can and does work to some degree, and it's just about increasing your chances of like a 10% win to a 30% win or a 40%. Nonetheless, though, they're gonna probably play to pull. Really important here, and this is super super important. They haven't actually hit this yet, right? So we don't need to freak out. We need them to pull this before we really die. So Rama should just like chill and leave. Seems like everybody's lagging in this lobby all of a sudden. What's going on? Okay. Hmm. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
not.
it gets pretty chaotic in here.
Yeah, it gets pretty chaotic. Okay.
I think I get a little bit lost onto
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I don't.
what should be going on.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't blame you for getting a little bit lost. This fight kind of works, which is nice. Um. Okay. There is a lot going on here. It's not good, but there is a lot going on here. I'll
Yeah.
break it down super simply because we can make this really easy. The easiest way to put this is this simple. This fire giant is the sixth man for us, okay?
hmm
If they're hitting fire, they have to hit fire, finish fire, and kill us and get fire, right? That's a lot of things to do. Which fight is easier? The 5v or the 4v4 because your Bari's not here. The 4v4 without hitting the fire giant or the 4v4 while hitting the fire giant? It's going to be the 4v4 while hitting the fire. That's tricky to play because you have to not get knocked up by the fire. You have to not take too much damage from the fire. You have to secure it or do damage to it in the first place. Your damage is going to be split. People are going to be out of position. It's very hard to play firefights well. And in lower level player games, they're always going to be where the throws are at. So this is the big place to lose or win games. You're denying them that ability to throw by taking a fight before they actually hit it, right?
hmm
Again, it is up to them to force this play. And if they play it well and are able to kill you and get the fire and all that stuff despite the pressuring you put on them, hats off to them. But I want you to try to get into the mindset of like, if they can pull this off, good on them. But I'm going to make it as hard as I can. Giving them this fight is just an easier fight. And I think the problem is like this fight almost kind of works. You know what I mean? So it leads me to think that if they actually had a true firefight this game, it would
It
not
could have
have
gone
worked for them.
better.
It could have gone
Uh-huh.
way better, right? Like it definitely could have gone better. Now there are a couple of things here that obviously go wrong. I want to start with the reason why this fight premise feels very scuffed is Ares needs to ult this ult. He just doesn't. Unlucky. That's just a blunder by him. This Rama starts the fight extremely low for no reason. Again, I want to be very clear. If this fire is not being done, this guy especially should never be up. So there are a lot of team-wide issues here in this fight, to be clear.
hmm
Um, Bari, who is going to clear the left fire wave to defend the Titan, ends up rotating because you guys force this. So if you guys literally just stand back and wait, you guys don't lose the left Phoenix from the fire wave. And again, she feels pressured to come because she thinks if I don't help, we're going to get wiped and lose the game anyways. So you see how much doing nothing here actually helps you out? It
Yeah.
really helps out a ton. If you want to start to play up, I don't hate it, but again, let them actually be hitting this. You know what I mean? Let them justify it. And then if it happens, it happens. It is what it is. But so those are some team issues that happen. This one is good by you though. I think coming into this lamp is a bit of a mistake. And the reason why I think it's a mistake is he lamped the full tank Ares who's full health. What this lamp is doing is it's keeping the Aladdin from dying, and it's also keeping the Ares from ulting people. But Ares is never actually going to lose this 1v1. The lamp's just going to run out, and he'll both come out pretty healthy, and the Aladdin will come out fine as well, right? So
hmm
this this lamp in is actually quite bad for you. If you just stay on the outside and just hit these like people like the Agni and stuff, you're much more useful. Because what do you actually do in this lamp to the Aladdin? Just the Aladdin. You 2 him, he immunes it. You're waiting, you're waiting. Now everybody kind of comes in and the Hunbats gets a pretty decent ult. But like, I think it just would have been so, and mind you, I don't think your bat should have came in either. So this is on him too. But like, I'm pretty sure if you guys just like fight on the outside here, you're way happier. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Because you're coming to your Bari as well, you know, or your Bari's coming to you. So now she can't come in. And like, these guys are reeling on the force fight of an Aladdin, and very similar to that mid fight by Oracles. If you can just like ult the Kurnanos, you're like gonna win the fight probably. But instead the Kern gets a free inning in, and that's like not great. Now he does end up coming in here and you do end up missing, so like obviously that doesn't help a ton. So that was just like a good juke by him, but I do think it would have been much better if he never came in the first place. Now I really like this though. Notice how here you're low and you just stick to it, and like it goes better. Now I'm not saying that's the only reason it went better, but you sticking to it when you're low is so much better of a play to make. I also here want you to continue to stick to it though. You have shell up, just like keep autoing in shell. You're fine. Like you're completely fine. I know it looks scary, but you're fine. I
Okay.
think if you just like you keep your autos, you use your 3 already. You just keep autoing here, you're gonna kill both of them with your teammates, shell your teammates and yourself. You're not gonna die. I know the margins look thin, but you're gonna be healing from auto attack ganks. So like you're fine. You just have to like stick to it. This kind of in and out wonky stuff, especially when you're 2ing, knowing he's gonna just silence it, I think kind of makes you lose this. Also, I know you're missing a couple of autos and the Aladdin comes in here, but like look how low they were. I think if you just like stuck it right here instead of going for this bludgeon and just kept autoing the Ganesha, this does just like work, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, and I know that seems like counterintuitive, but yeah, remember also you get a kill with Reaper, you heal a lot. So um, you just have to kind of stick to it. The Aladdin Immo wished, and that's why he's back. And unfortunately, yeah, the Phoenixes fall down again, which is a shame. I don't think you
Oh,
lose here, but
yeah, but it's losing.
it's
I
very
don't think it
losing, yeah.
happens.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is like, again with all this is like, you know, had this fight, I think had you stuck to this, you probably kill 2, and then it's just Aladdin, and then you lose a lot less Titan health, so sticking it would have been a lot better, obviously, and those guys end up dying, but now your Titan's half, you have 2 Phoenixes down, and again, all of this could have been avoided. I don't want to get too much into the micro of the fight, because yes, you should have stuck to it and just kept autoing there until you died, and you wouldn't have died because you kept autoing, but if you are in all these situations, you can really simply just look back and say, we forced a fight that didn't need to happen. And if we just let the Bari clear left wave before that fire, we're just at a fire dance. And notice right now what's happening. This is turning into EFG. This fire giant that they have not proven they can do in front of you is about to get a whole lot tankier in 3 seconds right now. So it's a whole lot tankier, does a lot more damage. They literally can never do this if your Phoenixes are all up and you're just defending it in front of you, ever. So they have a
Hmm.
really difficult fight that's made extremely easy by the fact that, number one, you guys are pulling this, and I think this is like not going to
I'm trying
work,
to get this
number one.
ward, but yeah, I don't think we should be pulling it here.
Yeah, yeah. So this is just a mess, right? You have no damage on this, so you guys get off of it. But like the biggest problem is you just have 2 Phoenixes down, right? So this is just so hard to play. This Agni completely ends, which is wonderful. What your bat should be doing right now is backing right now because he's very low, and what you should be doing is standing around fire. So your bats does end up backing. I want you to be closer to fire. I think you're kind of like hovering and doing nothing. I don't need you on the pit, but I need you to see the health bar all the time here. So just walk to the right and just make sure you actually see this fire rather than like this. Like this is kind of odd. Now I know you see the Kern now, but like it's a bit odd. I like this matches burn. After this though, I really want you to just kind of chill. Uh, although, you know, I will say like this actually was fine for you. You just have to beads this. You can beads during your 2, by the way,
Okay.
if you didn't know. Did you know that? You might not have.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But you can also beads the Aladdin ult. Like I won't get caught by it if I
Yeah, yeah,
beads
yeah.
it. Is
If
that
you
kind of how
beads
that
early.
works?
Yeah, so it's like an
Okay.
Ares ult. Because I know you mentioned, yeah, you're like still a bit newer. Yeah, super important. If this Aladdin ult doesn't hit you, you guys win the game here, I think, by the way. He is completely inting. Uh, or, mind you, I know you're in your 2. You can't cancel your 2 with your ult, but you can beads while 2ing. There's a couple ways you do this differently. Number one, you just beads the... while 2ing, super simple. Or you just keep auto attacking and then you just ult his ult. Either play is fine. I think you kind of did this a little bit backwards and it ended up being the worst possible combo, which sucks a little bit. This is a bit more like mechanical, so I'm not like super shocked this didn't work because it is a bit weird to do. But even this, I mean, you're kind of winning it, so I think he's gonna just die, so that's good. I do think like if this fight's not in the lamp, you're so much happier, you know? Because if the Aladdin just gets
Yeah.
one shot, it feels so good. Oh, I also think Kern just went like beast mode in the backline there. Okay, I mean this is weird. So the Kurnos soloed your 2 players in a 2v1 and is full health. Okay, well that's probably why you guys lost that so bad. This actually wasn't terrible. Like it actually was decent. I will say though, if you just don't get lamped here, this is probably hard winning, and it's a really nice stall and the game goes on. I'm gonna chalk this more to your 2 guys were full health and got soloed in a 1v2. I don't really know how that happened. But it was close, man. I mean, it was close. This really wasn't that bad. Like, you had the right read of at least fighting him, which I think was good. I just think, you know, unfortunately, like, this all comes down to, you know, we could have just fought on fire and, like, been fine, and they never pulled the fire in front of us ever. You know what I mean? Every
Yeah.
fight was just dying, not around the objective, and not them actually forcing it. Because, again, you don't have to do anything until they hit the fire. Your play on the Aladdin here was fine, mind you. It was more so that your Bari and Ares died, so I wouldn't chalk this fight up as much to you, like this is more of their fault, truthfully. But like, and also Rama should not have came into this lamp. I think you were going to win this 1v1 anyways. You definitely were going to win this 1v1. If you just up down right now, you just insta-kill him. So up down it earlier if you can. But like nonetheless, like you still hit the ult, so it's not a big deal. You were never going to lose this 1v1. Rama should have never came in. That was very bad by him. But I think the biggest takeaway for this game is just that in this game, if we, on these firefights, made them pull, we probably could have won. Because these fights were not clear and not clean, and they got away with never having to take the very difficult fight. You know what I mean? And that really helped them. So I think big picture things. Obviously, your farming this game was not amazing as the game continued. Like your gold right now is quite low. You don't have full build. You know, that sucks, right? That mostly happened because of not getting those waves way earlier. At this point in the game, it's quite hard to farm because you have to hold objectives and stuff. So it's really important that we're getting our waves and stuff earlier and in the mid game and in the early late game, so we avoid this very feels bad moment. So those spots where, you know, instead of playing ritual, we catch a wave, or, you know, when you mentioned like aptly ahead of those pyro fights and stuff, if we just caught a wave, etc., would have been much better. But the easiest way to really like limit the deaths and up the farming is also just, again, make them have to do the fire giant or something to win the fight, right? That didn't really end up happening. So um that was probably your biggest issue this match as a whole collectively, was like, here's the fire, they need to do it to win, but we're going to give them a fight that doesn't involve fire, and then we're going to lose the fight, and now the game's looking really hard. Aside from that, if they do have fire, you know, I think now you understand a bit more of this idea of cross mapping. They want to go here, let's just go other places and make it easier for us. And then I think just decisiveness in these team fights of like, if I'm going in, I'm going in, fine. I'm not, we can't play this middleman of like, I'm going to go in, not go in, go in, not go in. It's one or the other. And I don't really care which one you do, but this character really, well, I do care that you go in, but this character really excels in sticking with that decision, especially on the dives. So you just have to kind of like die with the dive, and if you die with the dive, you're going to win fights more because you're going to get more impact off generally. And I think you'll be surprised that a lot of the time you actually won't end up dying anyways, so it won't be a big deal. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the big thing. I'm going to end this recording, and yeah.